Good evening and welcome to the October 22nd, 2018 meeting of the Board of Selectmen. Start with Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next, we have public comment. No, I'll fight at once. Whoever wants to go first. You don't get a chance.
Mine's quick.
Donna Osborne. Who empties the trash around the gazebo in those two trash cans? There's trash coming over the top of them, all around the ground.
I picked it up off the ground Saturday and put it in
I don't know who
another
empties it,
trash
but it
bag.
needs to be emptied.
Yeah.
Is that, do we know who that is?
I believe it's Park and Rec.
Park and
Parks and
Rec.
Rec
Yep.
had a thing over there?
There's two
There's two.
trash.
Should have.
Yeah.
I don't know other.
It's coming right out.
I had a trash.
look into it.
yeah.
Okay, that was easy.
I had a trash bag, so I picked up everything on the ground and hung it off the.
When did you
Connor.
see it, Donna?
Just now, this
There
afternoon.
were, when I came down today, around one-ish, there were a lot of kids who were out there.
Boys and Girls Club.
with
now,
the-
yeah. After
By
school
the gazebo,
hours.
by the
Oh, okay.
gazebo, right there. I
Okay.
picked up about
Broken and-
25 cans
Okay.
off the ground
Climbing
there
the
Saturday when we were
trees.
cross bracing the
Well, there were
gazebo.
adults over there,
That
so,
don't matter when it comes
right.
to that. Thank you.
Okay.
Donna, so was there more cans on the ground? Because
I went at
I picked up
3
everything
o'clock.
Saturday. I picked up everything that was on the ground.
Frank Campana. My comment is centered around last week, setting of the tax rate, as you probably might expect. In 2007 to 2010, including 2007 to including 2010, the town tax rate did not increase at all. It was $2.76. That was the number then. It would be nice if it was a number now, but realistically, it's not going to be. 2017, I have the tax calculation sheets. So, 2017, the town rate, it was a 2-cent increase from 2016, which was a 1% increase. Thankfully, those are the finance administrator's numbers. Again, I'll always say I'm not that great at math. 2018, last week, town rate was a 30-cent increase from 2017, a 10% increase. So things are escalating. I don't know why. Maybe it's the way people vote. Maybe it's the only options that they have to vote on. Not much difference between operating budget, default budget. That's the way things are done, unfortunately. So, I was disappointed, as you might expect, that there was no money used last week to reduce taxes. As I had stated, excuse me, within the last couple of meetings, there was roughly $102,000 in budget surplus left over from 2017, and I can be corrected by, I won't be offended, but I think I'm correct. And you also voted to put in the insurance check from the junk fire truck, $54,000. Now, I guess my question is, and I don't have to have the answer tonight. I know there's some selectmen that like to wait a while, and that's okay. Where is that money, to me, to reduce my taxes? You had a budget surplus, and you had an insurance check. However the insurance check came. Okay, you had it. And I'll refer to the June 18th minutes. Let's see, I got 2 pages here. This is the discussion that you folks had regarding that insurance check. Selectman Snyder stated that before tonight, she felt it should go through the CIP. I don't know, I guess that could be taken a couple of different ways. But now, she is leaning the same as Sherry Burdick. And that was to, and Selectman Osborne stated he is leaning to have the money go back to the taxpayers. So there are 3 selectmen out of the 5 that wanted the money to go back to reduce taxes. That didn't happen. So I'm wondering why. I understand that money is tight. I have no way of disputing that, other than I don't know why. I don't know. I didn't hear any discussion of revenues, where there's a shortfall in revenues. I don't think we got any FEMA money, like I think we did the year before. Maybe we didn't get, which is a substantial sum, maybe we didn't get the flood money. 2 examples without going and looking at the revenue paper. I don't know. But nobody asked a question. The option that you chose, when you chose the option not to reduce, not to return any money, Selectman Snyder, she moved immediately to choose that option. It was seconded and it was passed. All within a couple of minutes, really. There was no discussion. And, that seemed odd to me. It almost seemed like it was pre-planned. It's also brought up that in regards to money being tight, borrowing, I did call the finance administrator, and she confirmed to me that I asked the question, are we getting into that type of situation? And she said, well, the paperwork has been filled out or being filled out in anticipation. Well, that's okay. That's not a threat. You do that and just in case. I remember within the last several years, including the last several years, when money was tight because of circumstances, the one that I remember specifically was within a couple of years ago, the tax bills went out very late for one reason or another. There was nobody to blame, from what I remember. So Selectman Snyder was the treasurer at the time, and I remember her discussions to the board. Well, I can borrow money. It's short money. I'm not an advocate of borrowing money. So, you don't pay on what you borrowed unless you use it. So that's, I guess, pretty good. So I guess in closing, if money is that tight at the board, when the time comes, when you make up the warrant for the town, in March, I would certainly expect, and I mean expect, that there won't be any money available to offset an article of any kind. Because if there is, then, I'll address it at that time, I guess. So, that's all I have.
Okay, I'd like to speak.
Well, actually, I do have one other thing. I was going to save it for another time, but I know there's one or a couple of selectmen that have used, the term "have to do what's in best interest of the taxpayers." So I guess I interpret that if you're not able to return money or choose not to return money to reduce taxes, then you feel that's what's in the best interest of the taxpayers. But the department heads make out okay. You know, and I've stated in the past, department heads comes first, taxpayers come second. That's all I have. Thanks.
I've seen you use my name a lot. I think I should probably reply to you. Number one, I do agree with the 53,000 from the fire department going into the general fund. Well, I believe that you asked that question prior in public comment last week, and Beth told you at the time that it is in this number.
Correct.
So, yes, but it's
understand.
it's in the offset. So, I mean, it's still, it did go to the general fund. And it
Correct.
is, and it's not being used for anything else.
I
It was,
Okay, I'm sorry.
okay.
Go ahead.
Because that, okay. And when I believe if you look back on YouTube, I know it's not in the minutes tonight because I tried to make sure. When I suggested number A to vote on, I made the motion on A, I wanted to move the discussion. Somehow it did get all voted at the time, but I wanted to start the discussion on what to do. I mean, I don't disagree with A. But that is what I wanted to do, was to open it for discussion. It did get voted in. Nothing was pre-planned because none of us even talked about it, so you can believe that if you want.
If you will allow me, Chairman.
Can I also finish? I let you have the floor. Beth also told you that we're going to have to start looking at for a 10 probably in January. She made that mention last week.
I think I stated that.
Oh, well, I
think I
thought you
stated
said
that.
I said, so. Okay, so.
I tried to talk, this time I tried to talk slowly.
Okay.
The paperwork was there.
Yeah,
et cetera, et
okay.
cetera.
But, I mean, we're down to the bare minimum right now as
Okay.
to what anybody would want to save for an emergency, if an emergency came up of any kind. I mean, we have no idea.
But
And
just,
5% is what the minimum is.
just to clarify, so I'm not misunderstood.
Yeah.
I know that insurance check is in the general fund. And that's where it still is, in the general fund.
Well, it's in the fund balance.
Oh,
It's-
fund balance, undesignated general fund, and it still is there. It did not, as
Reduce taxes.
As
It's in the
the,
revenue to offset our expenditures. So
Right.
it reduced our taxes.
So it did reduce the taxes.
You can't reduce it twice by the same amount.
Right.
okay, I get that. I get that. Okay, again, and just as a reminder, being that you mentioned the percentage,
5%.
last year, in 2017 rate, the option that was chose, it actually had a 7% retainage, which, you know, is excessive to me.
It's not really.
But you have also, and I think I stated, and I had paperwork, that generally the retainage has been around the 5 to 6, probably the 6%.
We try to keep it, I think they tried to keep it between 6 and 7 or in previous years, yeah.
Okay, again, that's all I have.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, Frank. No? Any other public comment? No? All right. We're a little ahead of time, but it's okay.
You can go down and let him do his budget and then.
Yeah, I think so. Come on up, you guys can test it. Recognize Public Works Director Andy Knapp to present his 2019 budget, proposed budget.
How we doing?
Well, I'm still here.
Since I've seen you guys, I guess for the budget, before I get started on it, we have
Oh, we have?
chip coated Hodgson Road. We've done shoulders on all the roads that we've paved in the last 2 years. We planted the trees back at the sewer station.
The proposed budget.
Do we have a proposed budget?
We do?
We do.
Yeah, it's put them in front of you. Right attached to that.
Ah, there it is.
Oh,
I thought we were gonna go in order of transfer station.
Where is it?
What's that one?
When do we ever do things, by the book?
Sorry.
Put them all in a pile. Well, that's work.
Okay.
That one. Continue.
Well, that's just trying to give you a quick update what the highway's done the last couple months, so.
Busy, that's
Yeah,
sure.
we're busy, but, I haven't forgot about the Bogue Road people. We tried to get a few loads of sham. I priced it to have a paving company do it. It was just, in my opinion, too much money, so. $43,000 to have them put a Band-Aid on it, so I don't think that's a good expenditure. So,
Experiment with what we got.
I attended the planning board meeting a week ago or so, and I was a little disappointed. They want to, any subdivisions less than basically 10 houses, they want to narrow up from 24 feet wide roads down to 20 feet wide. And I thought I had everybody on my side, and then I left and they voted 5-0 against me. So a little frustration there. I mean, it was more fit for public comment, but I know it has nothing to do with your board, but I wasn't here to express that then, so maybe.
So what are the roads in the subdivision?
Right now, they're all 24, and there's dislike about that, which is fine, but I was willing to make a compromise to have everything at 22. Now they got this sliding rule, which is just gonna be a headache for everybody upcoming, but, it disappoints me when I'm the road guy and,
They don't include you.
right, so.
Can that come up again and review
No, I
it?
don't think so unless,
Well, they haven't published it as a public hearing. It was on the agenda, but it
right,
wasn't
I gotta
posted as a
look into
public
that, see
hearing
if it
for
was
change of
actually
the
a
rules.
public hearing or
So,
not, so.
I think it has to come before for
So-
a public hearing to be
To be changed.
changed.
Hopefully. Just for the outlet. I mean, in my opinion, the developer, if he's put $1 million in the road, I figured it out for 1 mile of road, which is, for 10 houses, about 1,700 feet of road. That's about $6,000 additional pavement. I think when you get $1 million invested, we can make the other guy eat it for the town's best interest. But anyways, that, we'll start in on the budget if everyone's all set.
Can I ask one question before you
Yep.
start, Ben?
Yep.
What does that do for you? I mean, how does that affect you if they drop the
It just makes it so narrow, it's hard for two vehicles, especially
Right.
big mirrors, to meet. You know, if an oil truck and a 1-ton meet, you get over, Mount Dearborn's a perfect example, it's like 19 feet wide, the edges are all broke
hell?
to dog meat already. And it's because you're getting over in the springtime and you're meeting, it's just not safe for modern day vehicles. And the traffic flow, you know, it's not, I know we all wish it was the 60s here where there was one house every 4 miles, but it's not. And then we get those people that come after us, you know, 20 years down the road, you know, and
Yeah.
the roads break up from the outside in. Luckily, over the years, the planning board has made very stringent rules on what kind of material they put underneath the road, and that's been very good. But I just think that little bit extra pavement is peanuts to
Yeah,
make the developer
sounds it.
eat, that's all. With $100,000, I could see the argument, but $16,000 per mile, so roughly. So, but if we want to start in on the budget till it's time for the public hearing, I'd be happy to.
Yes,
You guys
please.
want to start at the highway? That's my first paper.
Sounds good.
And unless someone has an argument, start with line 13, that's telephone. Everything else is wage related, which is, so line 13, telephone, I'm asking for $2,400. That's up 360 from last year. That's 4 lines at an approximately $50 per line. We did get rid of one line that I'm paying for this year. It was a line that we had upstairs in this office here. And I'm not here too much, so we got rid of that one. But we do have to have 2 lines for the fire alarm, in case anyone wants to know why I have to have 4 lines. We only have 2. One's kind of a general line, more or less, the mechanic uses it, and then the other one is mine and Joe's phone. So 2469, 2467, the same number I think we've had for 30 years. So, and then there's 2 that they had to have for the fire alarm. So, electricity got moved to government building, so So then highway heat, we don't really have highway heat anymore. We used to have a line for highway heat, even though we burned waste oil. The office area was an addition, and that was propane. So we had a propane, no. So
But we still have propane down there.
for the generator,
Okay.
yeah. But I can't, that's, I think, 1,000-gallon tank, and I can't fathom. Take a long time to burn all that. Life insurance, another sideline, but it went down because secretary, I guess. I kept the meeting seminars the same. We had the advertising line, just for purchase and policy. We had to have a line for advertising. It's mainly for positions and bids, you know.
How are we at with positions?
One short, but I got a couple interests, so we'll see.
Okay.
So, hopefully. Cleaning services. Guess it's a new line. It's just to have someone come clean the lunch area, hallways, and a little bit of our office. Don't bother much with our office because Joe keeps his desk neat. Mine's covered with paper, so she don't want to mess them up. So, and bathrooms, the most important part. It's just once a week, give a quick mop and.
And I'll just add, right now, we swap. He gets it every other week in the town hall. So because there wasn't any
Right.
now, he's like to go every week. And it's based on,
Every
I
week.
think it's $40 a week for the cleaning.
Yeah, 1236,
It's too bad if we decide not to clean the new building.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's kind of,
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Thank you. Oxygen cylinder. That line, I don't know how it originally got its name, but that covers oxygen and acetylene for the torches, welding gases, things like that. And it's just, over the years, got a little more and more expensive. When we got a new welder, we can burn, we can do stainless and we can do aluminum, and you gotta have a gas bottle for all that. So that, we've gone over that for years, well, since I've been here anyway, 3 years. So I upped that $1,200 to $2,400 because we've been, 2017 we spent almost $2,000, and this year I'm almost there already. So it's just cutting and welding glasses, do our own fabricating gases. That's all that is. Office supplies I left the same. Office equipment I left the same. Postage we left the same. The whole inspection, Gordon Darby part, we left the same.
Is that moved over and all running now?
I don't have the machine in there because I didn't do anything small enough to use it for this year, but I'm sure we're gonna do next year, so.
Okay. But you have the machine and everything, it's just not hooked up
No, because they take it when,
and feed.
but yeah, we had to, and I didn't get it in the other garage because it's a pain.
Okay.
So they can bring it any time now.
Okay.
I didn't get it for my big truck, so.
No, you don't get the trucks.
Vehicle fuel, I guess we'll wait to have that discussion with you guys. Highway and safety gear. I didn't change it. You're gonna see I didn't spend much. Couple reasons, I guess. I got gifted a few medical kits, first aid kits, and I kind of think probably on my own mistake, some of the safety glasses stuff in the shop, I kind of coded the shop supplies. So probably looking back, I should have coded that to safety gear. It's one of them, you could go either way. They are used in the shop, so it would just keep the shop line from going over. Alcohol and drug testing, we raise it $264. We will get 4 drug testings and 2 alcohol testings randomly next year. The drug are $66 a piece, alcohol's $132, and then, I'm sorry, drug's $105, alcohol's $66. And then I left room for 2 pre-employments, and it's $132, so we reimburse if we get a new hire and they pass.
Benji,
Yeah.
on that line,
Yeah.
have you got any of your new highway guys have that hepatitis shot so they can safely work at the transfer station?
Mm-mm.
Might be something we want to think of.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I probably should. Put that under the transfer station, probably. Yep. Cutting edges, I left the same. You'll see I haven't spent a lot, but it's because just kind of now getting time thinking about that. Fuel additives, we went up $500 because we've been going over. When that line was originally made, it was for the diesel fuel additive to go in the diesel fuel. So started as power serve, go in the tanks, and then we got Texas Refinery go in the bulk tanks to save from contamination. Now we have Blue Def to go in all the new stuff, so that's going to keep going up as we get new equipment. We got 3 pieces of equipment and 3 trucks, I guess, now that take Blue Def. So we've gone over because of that. Tires and chains I've left the same. Oil and lubricants, I increased $2,000 because we've been going over it. 16 we spent, I'm asking for 10,000. In 16 we spent 10,148. And 17 we spent 10,167. So, and I'm over now. I budgeted 8,000. I'm at 8,032, and we have oil coming. So it's, we buy it by the drum as cheap as we can get it. So, other than we stick to one brand of motor oil, but a lot of that's hydraulic oil. Blow lines in the winter time lose 30 gallons. That's better part of a drum. So. Signs, posts, and rails. That's kind of a funny line. I've just stuck with. 4,200's more than enough to buy all the signs you want, but it isn't enough to put enough guardrail to do this room. So, that I left it the same, but it's pretty easy to spend if you're going to do much guardrail, which I was going to do this year, but I just didn't get to it. I wanted to do a big guardrail package, and I just didn't. It was up around 12 grand, so I just backed off for this year because money's a little bit tight, as you'll see when we get down the list here. Rakes and shovels, I reluctantly left it the same. You can't buy a rake for less than $50 anymore, but I left it the same, sake argument. Paint, striper, supplies. I didn't spend any this year, and you'll see I way overexpended in 17. The reason being is when I started, we had 0 paint for our paint machine. It all got thrown away prior to me. And I don't remember the exact numbers on top of my head, but it was significantly cheaper to buy a pallet of paint, which was what that $1,450.47 was. So now I have quite a bit of paint, but we did a lot of painting this year, so I could probably stock back up before the year end, but if not, I definitely will need that for next year's stop bars and stuff. So. Shop supplies, I left the same as 17,000. I'm almost there now. It's probably going to go over. Again, I probably could have saved a couple $100, safety glasses and stuff, but that's your brake cleaner and breakaway and shop towels, and
You're getting it probably from the same vendor as...
a lot of it, not all of it. Bolt, I guess everything that you can't fit under vehicle maintenance goes under shop supplies. Some of it's tough, like bolt bins, for instance, or bolts that go in the bolt bins. It's tough to allocate that necessarily to vehicle maintenance, even though probably most of that goes to there. But, things like that can run it up pretty quick. When a grinder burns out, or a drill, or whatever. Chainsaw supplies, I left the same at $750. Highway building maintenance. I made this statement last year when I was asked about the new building, if we're going to have any maintenance. Never lived in a new building before, I don't know. So, see, we spent a lot in last year. That was for the old garage, but this year I've doubled it, but it was mainly just cleaning of the furnace, and it probably was a little bit in this line from the other shop too, because it was transition in January. So that probably all $5,000 didn't all go into the new shop, but we have to pump that tank. We got to clean that furnace every 600 hours, and I like to have the professionals come do that. Very expensive piece of equipment to be farting around. We can probably clean it, but I like to. I had them come down, fire it for the first time, and there was, it wasn't issues, but they had to test a couple things. They flew one switch, but there's switches in there to Kingdom coming back, so, and they're the guys that sell them. So Arrow, the same company that serviced our old furnace, I had them come.
And plus, that's waste oil, so it's a little bit different.
Yes, yeah.
Different breed.
Dirty, so it gets dirty, and quicker. So communication left the same. That's just basically, we went over this year, and the sole reason, because we've had the same handset radios from when I started in 2001, and they don't hold a charge from here to out the door, so I bought some new ones. Hopefully this year we don't have that. I got double-sided paper. I got to figure out where I'm at here. Okay.
We're trying to save.
Yeah.
Beth is right on top of it.
So a new line that I added that I'm expecting some controversy over, it's something that I've been interested in for a while, and I got enough support that I dared to put it in this year. It's labeled as gravel road maintenance, but it could be road maintenance. It's mainly for the gravel, crushing of the gravel road, and the calcium chloride. The calcium chloride is something that was implemented a few years back, and now we can't get away without doing it. That's at least $12,000. That was last year's number. And that's around $30,000 for crushing of gravel, which this year we put on some gravel roads. We did all our shoulders with our own gravel. We, a little bit of stone. I have a little bit of erosion stone made up for around culverts and stuff. That's money that comes out of the road reconstruction. So $42,000 would chip coat or overlay 2/3 of a mile or something like that. That it always goes the same spot every time. So kind of like cold patch. We have a line for cold patch. So which is the next line at $5,000. I've overspent that every year, but it's a little less this year. Hope to be less next year. We overlaid a couple of roads that were bad pothole roads this year, section of River Road and section of Reservoir Drive, and I hope if I get my way to do the rest of Reservoir next year. That's where a lot of cold patch goes. I'm sure another one will start. So I left it the same, even though we spend over every year. Highway vehicle equipment maintenance. We go over every single year. This year I upped it because we're over already. It doesn't show that we are, but we are, because I know I paid a couple bills to put that over. And it's just what it's costing us to fix it. If anyone comes down and looks at my trucks, you'll see it isn't because I'm buying chrome hubcaps for them. It's, it's just to get them up and down the road. And not to pick on anything in particular, but the last month those Volvos have given me troubles that I can't. It's just because they're the older trucks right now, We got rid of a couple internationals that were just because of their age. It wasn't their brand name at all, but I'm having a hard time getting people that want to work on the Volvos, so.
Just short of the dealer, and even they don't want to really.
Yeah, I send it to them, and we haven't had great luck down there, but, Sizemore's not really interested. TMS, we send them once in a while, but, it's other things. You'll see some of the other trucks got big bills too. They fixed the Mac. It's not picking on anything in particular, but you'll see some bills if you haven't signed them already. That
Yes.
pretty big bills.
Yeah, we saw them.
I don't know what to say about that. It isn't because I'm replacing fancy things for them for sure. So I raised it $10,000. Highway salt and sand, which I'd like to be clear that that's really just salt. A couple of years we're going to be buying sand, so you'll hear me asking for more money to purchase sand because we use our own sand. So that's why it still says sand on there, because eventually I'll be asking. But I left that the same. The shed's not full, that's why it's not all spent yet. Tree removal, I left the same at $3,000. The reason I haven't spent any is because I was able to encumber some last year, and between me and the tree company, we couldn't come together and get it done until this year, early this year. So I got a lot of it done under last year's, but they are coming. I have a whole day set aside for them this year, and they're just waiting for them. So. The uniforms, we increased it. That number, I was hoping to present you guys with a contract tonight, and I just, I didn't. We got a lot of questions, talk about apples and oranges, so I'm trying to straighten it out before I come forth to you guys. That's a rough guesstimate number of what the new contract will be, plus coats and t-shirts for the guys. I don't think I bought the guys new t-shirts since I've been here. They're well due. And we get the coats for them every year and give them to them, and they can wash them. It's been past experience that when you let them wash it, they ruin them faster than we ruin them. So, with the uniform company I'm talking, whatever they use to wash stuff, it peels the reflective striping off, and it just
Pretty abrasive.
yeah, it must be hot, something, I don't know what they use, but so,
We can patch it.
yeah, exactly. And it seemed, I don't have the numbers because they didn't bother this year, but we have looked at the numbers before, and it's more money by a lot to have them do it and clean them every week. It's a lot more money per year than just to buy them a $50 coat. So, that's why.
Because you pay 52 weeks versus
Right,
a few weeks that you wear in the winter.
right. And then,
And are you also just, we're looking at mats too, right?
no, that'll be on the transfer station.
Mats,
No, floor mats, runners.
Rugs.
Sorry, Jesus, yes.
No, I wasn't
yes.
talking about mats.
I know.
So-
Yeah.
With the new garage, there's a lot of dirt gets tracked
Yeah.
in, so we're looking at,
The
in
runners.
that number, is the runners they roll up and take with them.
Yep.
Versus trying to vacuum or blow that dirt around.
Yeah, we've got those.
So-
They work really well.
I bought a couple cheap ones and
Yeah.
we were gonna vacuum and it didn't happen.
They got ruined quickly.
Yeah.
But they do get ruined real quick anyway.
They do.
So,
So every
right,
week they'll
so
roll them up and
instead
go,
of
right.
buying 3-4 sets every year, I got 3 mats. I think I got a 3x10 and a couple 3x5s or something. So it's pretty cheap money per week if you ask me. I think it's $5-6 a week
Well, they
for
can
3
roll up and
runs.
take the dirt with them.
Yeah, that's right. They take the dirt right out on them. So.
Shake it in the parking lot before you leave.
Yeah, exactly. And then the cell phone,
Is that to lose one too?
because Beth shared an office with me for a year, she happens to know me, and she put in enough money for a new phone because I've been hard on them. I try not to be. My wife will tell you that I am at home too, so I'm sorry. I lost one last year calling
In the
under a
snow.
plow truck,
Yeah.
hooking a chain to a truck, so it wasn't I was goofing off. But. So, any questions on highway? That comes to the end of my sheet.
Oh, maybe.
No. So the 42,000 was always under road reconstruction?
That's right.
Okay. So other than that, I mean, it's like $18,000 increase.
Yeah.
If that wasn't moved over, right?
That wasn't move over.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Yep, okay. All right.
65, almost 7,000, that's town voted raise,
Yes, right.
so.
Yep.
Yeah, and like I said, something I kind of felt for a while. I just, I never want to be the person that gets the blame for the budget, but trying to stretch the road money as far as I can, do what we can on the road, and something that gets allocated to the same spot all the time, I really think deserves a line, and we'll try it and see how it flies. So, well, we'll go to transfer station then if everybody's happy with all
Sounds
that.
good to me.
We'll start back at telephone, I guess.
Yeah.
We decreased at $60. We just went back over the bills and took an average times 12 months, and that's what it came to. The internet, guess just must have went down. I got Matt, just flying internet up there so you can check his own stuff up there. Got a hand-me-down computer from I think the fire chief gave us just a little,
Laptop?
yep, that wasn't no good to them anymore, so. Worked
He was
good.
trying to do everything on his cell phone.
Yeah, he was doing everything on his personal cell
Bringing
phone,
up his cell phone, trying to do,
so.
Adding and
So he
subtracting.
does-
Work.
yeah.
no, just to.
All his NRA
Yeah,
stuff,
NRA
all your, we do a lot with, well, anything. The NRAs, we do a lot of business with, but We Liberator, all them guys, everything's by email now. We don't even get a bill from We Liberator anymore, it's emailed to us, so. Which I get, but all the stuff from loads that get shipped out, I like him to have it. He keeps record of it too. He's pretty self-sufficient up there, so. Building maintenance, I left the same. I didn't spend a lot up there yet. While we're on this, I was gonna ask you guys, I need to give him some rain gutters over the front and over the back, because it drips, the frost drips in the winter time, and then it freezes, and those are the two places people throw their trash and they slip. He asked me for them last winter.
Yeah, think
I
we
looked
talked about
into
it
them, I
last
got
one.
as far as seeing it was over $1,000 and had to get 3 prices, and I just didn't go no further. So I'm gonna do that. Can I do that out of government building maintenance? If I get, three quotes?
Should be able to.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
I've been there, over the hopper door,
Oh, on the back?
to the back.
Yeah.
You're really gonna have to get some good rugged gutters out there, because in the springtime, when you get about that much ice up there and it slides out,
Takes them down?
it could. I'm not saying it would, but I mean,
Okay.
2 or 3 times I shut that back door right off. I wouldn't even let people back up there
Yeah.
till that broke off.
Yeah,
But that's something to think about
Okay.
when you do something on that backside.
all right. Well, I'll bring that up to whoever gets the
Yeah,
thing, see if they got any ideas. There's so much new stuff out there now that
yeah.
I'll keep that in mind. Transfer station training. I did leave the same. We'll see how it goes this year. I got, more and more, I had quite a few new people this year at the highway, so I really need to train them at the transfer. I had a couple of guys been real good about going up there. One actually likes it up there a lot, so I don't have, they work all completely under Matt. I need to get them trained anyway, so we'll see how that line goes. I'll leave it the same for this year. Did I skip one?
No.
No?
No.
Advertising, we left the same. Not a lot of the time you need to advertise up there, but you ought to have a little money in case you need it. Same as printing, I guess. NRA stayed the same. I've been a smart aleck and end up on paper. That's the exact amount that they said it's gonna cost, so. It was a long day going over the budget, and we were having a little fun, so. But it stayed the same anyways. Trash hauling. I don't know how I want to explain this. I guess last year, so we're paying $250 a load right now. There is a percentage increase per ordered contract. Send it to $257.50. But let me get my dirty paper out. So that number is the default. Yes. So what happened last year with everything, with the default, was when we just got the contract signed by Sizemore, that really killed me on metal and trash and let me get my paper. Trash and paper. So the contract last year, let's just say for trash, that's what we're on, should have been $26,000, and I got stuck with $23,155 just for trash hauling. And as we go down the line, the same applies for the others. So that's what we should have been paying. This year was $26,000. And then there's a 3% increase per order of contract. So that number, last 26,000 reflected $250 a load. And this coming year, it's gonna reflect $257.50. Paper disposal is the same story. We should have had $8,730, and I was left with $55.80.
Newspaper disposal is a new line that you wanted to.
Oh, yeah, disposal, not hauling, I'm sorry. Yep, so disposal, getting ahead of myself. Newspaper took a tank, so we no longer get paid for it, even though it's a recyclable item. We still recycle it, it's still cheaper to dispose of it in that manner than it is hauling it to the burner, but we are paying to dispose of it. It got put under trash hauling because there was no line for it this year, but I'm trying. I don't know if when it's gonna go back so we get actual revenue for it, so. That's what paper disposal stands for. That's it. Average number, $35 a ton, with an average load of 19 tons per load, or an average weight of 19 tons per load, with an average of 12 loads a year. So that's how I come up with that number. Wheelabrator, that's where the trash goes. When you throw it in the hopper, it goes in the trailer, and Sizemore hauls it off to its destination. Wheelabrator is where it ends up. I gave it a 2% increase because they won't know until December 31st exactly what the increase is going to be, but they said that it would for sure be no more than 2%. So I gave a 2% increase over last year, just in case it does. The next line's another thing I would like to take out of road reconstruction is glass crushing. That's all completely transfer station. We try to use it for aggregate in the road. Doesn't happen very often, but we have to crush it per order DES to manage it, and comes out of road reconstruction. So.
Have you checked into, like, possibility of taking it to Glasgow? Because they're a depository for that.
Yeah. I haven't asked them, no.
And,
I don't mind using it in the road, but I inherited such a god-awful pile, it's almost overwhelming right now. But it's unfortunate. It does make a very good aggregate, but everybody's scared to use it. And if a tailgate leaks a little bit, you don't never hear the end of it. And unfortunately, it does work good in the road bed. So it doesn't absorb moisture. So you put it in the road and there's no moisture there. It works great, but use it with caution.
Would this be Iva?
Well, more than likely. I don't know who else does it. You have to go out to bid, but yeah.
Right. I know the last time he did any down there, I mean, you can pick it right up, put your hands just like this.
Yeah, it crushes it back to sand form, almost. Not
People
quite.
think glass crushing, it's all these big chunks. It is not.
No, it's
It
not.
is not.
No, if you use the right,
Used to be.
if you use the right crusher, it.
You gotta have a
handle
glass
does it.
crusher.
Iva does have
Yeah, I know.
Can't send it through gravel crusher. It sorts all the garbage out too, the bottle caps and labels, everything. So.
Okay.
Metal hauling. So we're gonna go back to what I spoke to about trash hauling, and there's 3% increase this year. Right now we're paying $250 a load to haul it to Schnitzer's. That's our metal container. You throw your scrap iron away at the transfer station. And this year I was left with $61.35 to do that with. I should have had $7,500. So the number that you're looking at now is a 3% increase over that. Bale and wire are left the same. Bale and wire is what they tie the bales up with. Everything you see that goes in the bale, cardboard and plastic mainly. Hauling loose paper, that's what I thought I was speaking about a second ago. It's the same story, trash and metal. Should have had 8730. We got left 5580. The number I gave you is contract percentage over that. So didn't go up too much. But shop supplies. We went up $50 just because we seem to go over every year. $250 ain't a lot to buy stuff up there. Fuel surcharge, wait time / wait time. We haven't spent nowhere near that in the last couple of years, but you just never know. And in the contract, if diesel fuel gets over $3.15 a gallon, there's a charge per load for that. So we're pretty close there now, I think. And the wait time is when they get hung up at their destination. They have to sit there and wait. Since we stopped going to ERCO, who was the reason for the conversation we're having about 10 minutes, we've had less wait time. But we still get hung up at Wheelabrator sometimes. So I left that line the same. Transfer station office supplies, I left the same. $50. Fuel, we wait for you guys. Safety medical gear left the same. I didn't spend any of it. Again, that probably may have been my fault and put it under shop supplies. I know I bought them, gloves and stuff, so. Boot allowance.
I'm sorry.
What's that?
Your Hep B we'll have to talk about because you took it out.
Yes.
Well, there hasn't been one.
Right. Boot allowance
Hep B.
stayed the same. Yeah, we didn't allocate nothing for Hep B.
Probably should.
Yeah.
I would think. I think we should allocate something
Can we
for
get
that.
Can
Yeah.
we get a price from whoever does our
Testing?
testing?
Per person, and maybe
On site.
set enough money aside for 2 people to do it.
Mm-hmm. Uniform, same things with the highway. We're all tied in together. Just have a line that we take a little out from the transfer. So it's a rough guesstimate on possible new contract. Well, we're gonna get a new contract, but what it possibly could be, and then T-shirts and coats for Bill and Matt. Monitoring wells. I left the same. You never know what they're gonna be. They could spend all of that. The state mandates what you're gonna get. So it's not the same test every year. Same as water testing here. It's not the same. So they pull a ball out of a hat, and that's what you're doing. So trailer tires, we left the same. We didn't spend a lot of it this year. That's good news in my opinion. But they run over something, blow one of them super singles on that demo trailer. That's half of that. So
Yeah.
So I felt we should leave it the same. Signs, post, and rail, same thing. You don't need it till you need it. I guess $300 don't buy you a whole lot. So I haven't spent it, but equipment maintenance, I left the same. We haven't spent a whole lot of that, but
Benji,
yes,
equipment maintenance,
yes,
does that include the compactor?
it does. And that was topic of discussion on Friday. We talked about servicing that as far as changing the oil, but I think I might sample it and wait to change it next year in warmer weather maybe. Because the one thing that breaks down hydraulic oil is heat, and that thing surely don't get any heat. It doesn't, not like a...
When they put that in 7, as I told you last year.
Yeah.
They really recommended it in 10 years.
Yeah.
To check the guide rails and everything
Yep.
else that the compactor itself rides on.
I looked for information on that, didn't find any when we talked about it last year, and I kind of didn't forget, but I haven't done it since. But I did look when we were talking about it.
Probably have to call
I can't even find who did it, so
jeez.
I guess I'll ask around
Well,
enough
they
and I'll
used to be in
find out.
Rochester. I think they're in Maine now. same outfit we've always used even when we were back there.
Yeah,
Did it, put it in. So that's probably.
remember I'm
definitely
doing
something we
it,
wanna
but that's
try to-
about it.
'cause I know it's hard and steel, but
Oh, they wear out, goes back and
11
forth.
years.
Yeah,
there's a lot of time going back and forth,
sure is.
so, okay.
Yep, no, that does include that though.
All right.
And hazardous waste day. Touch on that just for a second. The reason we haven't spent any is I called roughly the same time as I do every year, around May-ish. And a month and a half later, when I finally got a hold of Clean Harbors, they were booked. I said, well, that's nice. There must be other places that do it. So I called around, and every company name I got from anybody else was either Clean Harbors or someone that didn't want to come here, they didn't want to leave Massachusetts, or they're booked for the year. So, the plan is, it's all right with you guys to have two next year. I'll encumber the money this year and have one as soon as snow's done, like
April.
middle
End of
April, as soon as we're off
Yeah.
call.
So you're gonna
Whatever
encumber.
Saturday lives. Yeah, I would like to, and give people two next year.
Yep.
I feel terrible about it, but I didn't go about it any different than I have any other year. I've always called in May and got a spot in October. When they finally got back to me, it was February they were booked to, so. So,
I have no problem.
I'm gonna call them
Yeah.
like tomorrow, if it's all right with you guys, and set up an April or early May, you know,
Set 'em
depending
both
on
up.
what their schedule is, and then I'll do another one with next year's money in October for next year's.
Set
then I'll
both
have
up.
to-
Yeah.
Set up 2 days.
Yeah, yep.
Right.
Yeah, I'll set up the October one same time, so that don't get me again, so. I apologize to all those who've been waiting for that, it got me, I guess, but.
I need a vote on the encumbrance of those funds.
Move to encumber the hazard, household hazardous waste day, fund $7,000 be earmarked for 2019.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No, it's only I thought it was like around $7,000 each time.
It is.
It is.
So next
It's just
year
the
you'll
earmark.
have-
Yeah,
We're
next one will be on the
encumbering the
next budget.
7 from
Yeah.
I'll use-
2018.
I'll use, what I'm asking for is this, the money I have right now I didn't spend, to
Okay,
use it in April, and then my budget,
okay.
I didn't
Yeah.
increase, I'm asked for the same 7,000,
Okay, got it.
I'll reserve that tomorrow too, sometime this week, if I can get a hold, what a place to get a hold of, I'm telling you. Terrible,
Busy.
yeah.
All right.
Well, that leaves us at 7:30, and I had sewer and water left after, and there shouldn't be a whole lot of discussion on that, so.
It's right at 7:30.
It is right, 7:30.
As soon as John gets back, I have,
You have to open the meeting.
Yeah.
asking to increase the disposal fee for demolition.
That's this sheet right here, you all can have.
Okay, seeing we have made the 7:30 hour, I'm going to open a public hearing, hear public testimony and comment on increasing disposal fees at the transfer station for feed items. Recognize Director Knapp.
So I'll just give you a quick history of our demolition. We charge residents to get rid of their demolition as it comes in. It's not a tax-based item, mainly because most of you only do a roof once every 30 years with Hope, right? So you don't need to pay for that every year. At any rate, we do it by guesstimation of square yardage or footage. And it's really not a good way to do it, but we don't have a set of truck scales, so that's how we have to do it. And the fees have gone up a little bit since they were last made, and they went up a lot in January for two reasons. Number one, they just went up from 70, I think, 4 a ton to 79 at our, where we were taking it, over in Epping. And the second problem was they were really getting us on their so-called contaminated material, which was too much sheetrock. And I even had, Matt kept very close track one load. We were way at, they had a sliding rule that was unbelievable. If it was over 10%, it was this price. If it was over 15, it was this price. It was ridiculous. Matt kept close track once, and we were way under. And when we should have been paying $79 per ton, we got charged $101. We got charged $101 twice, $111 once, and I think $121 once. So in 4 loads, I was over $100 a ton, and we were budgeted for around 74. So I quit them. I went somewhere else. I got a price that is across the board, is working much better. They're $80 a ton. If ERCO didn't jab us every single time, we'd still be 79. So it's only $1 difference. And trucking went down $3 a ton by going to the new place. So. But at the current rates, we're not making it. We're behind. So with our guesstimate numbers, which is, we try to convert the yardage into weight, which is very hard with loosely thrown construction material. And we done some of our own weighing. I done a lot of contacting with other transfer station foremans, and me and Beth Googled it one day. Best we could come up with was a yard of loose shingles, junk shingles, is very roughly a ton to the yard. So that's kind of how I based my numbers, if anybody wants to know how I got them. So if the previous cost was $75 a yard for asphalt shingles or sheetrock, and $30 a yard for wood. And I'm proposing to increase the wood from 30 to 35, because the wood's working close. I didn't want to up the shingles so far that we had angry customers up there at Matt. So I used that to offset a little, because 85, and then I went from 75 to 85 on shingles and sheetrock, and that's really not quite enough. So I increased the wood just a little. And the wood could be, if someone brought in an entire pressure treated deck, then it's not. Wood's kind of clean wood, you know. So this is where that price came from. And we changed the list a little. I don't know if that really matters in this public here. And before they had clean demo and carpet. Carpet is always and forever going in the hopper, unless I never threw it in the demo trailer. Did you? No. So and there was a contaminated demo price, so we got rid of all that. Went back to the way it was when I was there and when John was there, which is wood and asphalt, wood and shingles and sheetrock. And then there's a flat fee for toilets. But what the hearing for tonight is increase wood from 30 to 35 a yard, shingles and sheetrock 75 to 85 a yard.
Any changes on the rest?
Did you change the
You tie it?
toilets? Did you added a cost for toilets?
They've always been $5. It's
they
been
have,
somewhere
okay.
else. I don't know.
Okay.
This is the way it was. I know it was when I was there, and it was very simple. And I know it was when John started. There was a while PT and sheetrock was an absolute bear to get rid of, so they forced them to make it more complicated.
You're not gonna go up with the tires?
No, they're fine.
Where are you taking it now, Benji? This?
Demo?
Yep.
Not in Bradford.
Oh, okay.
So he promised to keep his price at 80 a yard. So if someone comes in cheaper, I can take it there, but this will cover 80 a yard. Like I said, Sizemore decreased his price. He didn't have to, I suppose, but he did, so that was good of him. So that helped us a little. That was roughly $3 a ton. Of course, it's a per load price, but on an average load. So all those things, it just breaks us even. That is it. So, I mean, I talked to some other towns. Some of the towns not too very far from here that weigh it. If you do the conversion math, they're at about $125 a yard for sheetrock and shingles. So this is nowhere near gouging anybody. And it may be kind of the problem, you know, I kind of wish commercial guys, if you have your house done, you hire a contractor, I wish we could just tell them not to bring it, because they're bringing it to us, because it costs him a fortune if he's gotta take it somewhere else.
Yeah.
And you're paying that. That was in his cost.
Right.
I've done business, I know how that works. You pay $200 a yard to haul it off, and he brought it to the Weare transfer station for $85, but as long as it covers our costs, that's all I care at the moment. Someday we need to have a scale talk, not tonight, but it would be more fair for everybody, and the auditor would like it better.
So all these other prices, is there a line through it, or is that a mistake?
Nope.
No
that?
line through
We
it.
eliminated them a while ago.
Yeah.
We eliminated the bulk fee.
Yeah. we
So
eliminated them.
you
Everything with a
don't
line
have to
through
pay
is-
for that anymore?
No, that goes in the trash.
No wonder you took the mattress.
I still got my receipt to look at, right here. $42.
You told me that, Beth, right?
Apparently.
Right.
That all the information you?
On demo, yeah,
Okay.
and then we'll go back to budget.
Would anybody like to speak towards this?
Go ahead, Frank.
I have two questions, actually. I think I appreciate Benji trying to emphasize that he's not trying to make money off of it, like what has been done in the past. I haven't seen a budget printout on that. Looks like maybe you guys have something. But in any event, on toilets, I didn't know that there was a disposal fee. Why is, maybe I can guess, but why is there a disposal fee?
So, the reason is just to cover the cost, because we throw them in the demo trailer. When I first started, it was $5 back in, I think I started in '01. We charged $5. And then for a while, we threw them in the glass to have them crushed. But they're very, very sharp.
China.
You can't, yeah.
China,
And
yeah.
if there's one thing you see in the road to give a flat tire, it's a piece of toilet. So I think for a junk old toilet, $5 is, it's just kind of covered.
Because I've seen them a number of times, even bathroom sinks.
Yeah.
You know, over where the cement blocks are and that.
Yeah,
So-
I'm trying to phase away from it. They probably shouldn't be, but I guess.
Okay. Okay.
China, shut up.
All right, I thought you were gonna say because it's hazardous waste.
No.
So that,
Potentially.
so that eliminates my second question. Because if that had been the answer, I was gonna ask why there was no charge for cast iron drain pipes, which, you know, older plumbing systems had.
No, just something. We get rid of them because nobody wants to deal with them, and you get a few, I think it's a fair charge.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, good enough.
Put it at the front yard as a planner.
I was just gonna
See
say
some
that.
of them.
I was just gonna say
Anybody
that.
else for public comment on the transfer station schedule? Tom,
I just have a quick question.
if anybody knows the way it's supposed to work, that'd be you.
Does this mean the pressure-treated wood will go right in with the other wood?
Yep, all same trailer, yep.
Okay.
That'll be under the wood cost. No, yep.
Any other comment?
He didn't give his name. I'm kidding.
Must be yours too, because again, that's doing the handwriting.
Do we need a handwriting?
I move we accept the, oh, no?
No other comment?
Oh, okay.
All right, I'll move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Sorry about that.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. At 40. 140. Okay.
I move to accept the new fee schedule for 2018 presented by the DPW Director for the transfer station.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Two more quick budgets, I hope, and then,
Just one correction on the,
Is that effective tomorrow?
is that effective tomorrow?
When do you want to?
yeah.
Yes.
Sorry about that. I didn't give you two copies of the budget. I had a note wrote on one, Frank. That paper? No, I didn't. I got a paper clip to something else. I'll have to fold my folder up next time, yeah. No, I just said to look into the Hep B shot, so I just... See, it's right there, you can't read it.
Yeah, that
So in my paper, the next budget is sewer. Is that what you guys got? Geez, we can't get out of that, huh? So, I'll go through the lines. I just want to make it clear. The people that use the sewer are the ones that pay for it. So, such as the trees that I just planted over there were really requested by the people in that neighborhood, and they're the ones paying the bill. So, I gave them back to them. So, shouldn't cost taxpayers any, they're taxpayers, but shouldn't cost all the taxpayers any. So we can go back down, start telephone again. That's just monthly average. We increase it $27. Electricity, monthly average of the bills. We increase it $252. I will say, you'll see that it's way over, or it's gonna be way over. That was due to that pump failure. Propane for the generator. Haven't used any, but we're gonna have to fill it up eventually, so it's just one of those things, you don't use it a lot. Pump the tanks. I didn't pump them this year because I kind of wanted to put them trees in for the people. And it had way more enough storage for a few years there. I'll pump it next year. And that barely covered it last time, so that's not too bad. Seminars and training, I'll use that. I need to go renew my license. The mowing, I think, got done today.
Now, that's up on the fields?
Yes, I'm sorry. So that's the mowing of the leach fields, which is behind Brownie's Pit, in case anybody wants to know. I've been asked that 100 times this week. Nobody knows where they are. They're way, way, way out. That's a pumping station is all that is there, so.
That's good to know, because I didn't know they were out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 3 or 4 of them out there.
And but the tanks are at the pumping station.
Yep.
Yeah.
Professional services, that was before I had my license. He had hired WSO. I didn't. That's decreased by $1,050.
Nothing carried over, though, to the 19 proposed.
No, zeroed out.
You zeroed it right out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Supplies, I don't need a lot down there, but left once in a while I need something. Sewer equipment, I asked for $6,200 because I need to replace that pump. That's the predicament we got into, is the pump, there was always a spare in that building, and then one of the pumps failed, that pump got used and that pump never got replaced. So then when the next one failed, that's why I was in here to scramble with you guys.
We had nothing.
We had nothing. And that's very, very, very bad news, because that other pump was on all the time, and we got away
Hence
with
the
one.
electricity bill's high.
Yes.
It was like $900 a month.
Yes. So we got away with one, because if that overfilled, that would have been a mess, and then lots of money, so.
Literally, yes.
Yes. And it's my license, so that would kind of come on me too, so. I'm gonna buy a new pump. Equipment repair. I just left that in case I need to have them come put a pump in. That kind of falls under that. And alarm monitoring. That's just a monthly rate for the alarm system down there. If there's no questions on that, we'll go to water.
I do have one question.
Yep.
In future,
Yep.
your position is safe, do not get me wrong, but should we put a placeholder in that 597 line? Just in, because one day you're not gonna be here, we're gonna have to train somebody else to do it. So I don't wanna see that line get completely zeroed out.
What do you think, Beth?
Well, that whole department is their own animal because they're not taxed through dollars,
Right.
tax dollars. So whatever they only pay what's spent. So if Benji's not here and you spend $6,000 in a line, the taxpayers in this area will pay that.
Right, but I just
Yeah.
wanna make sure that, because we're zeroing it out, it doesn't go
It
away.
didn't exist when Tim was here. When Benji came on board, we just added the line
Okay,
because we needed to.
Yeah.
question answered.
The water's pretty simple. We have the training, which again, I need to go recertify. The testing, it's kind of like the ones at the landfill, the monitoring wells. It's whatever the state tells us to. We had the biggest one I've ever even heard of there last quarter. I had an entire fishing cooler full of glass bottles we had to do, so I haven't seen one of them in years, so you never know what they're gonna tell you to do. Water services. That's more or less when we have an RO system down here. We have one at the daycare. That's what that's for. I did just put a new bubbler at the daycare. And I might put one at the highway, just for FYI. It's really cheaper than bubblers if you're paying for water. There's an upfront cost, and then it's a little bubbler like you see, but it's got an reverse osmosis center inside of it. So you hard plumb your water into it, and
You take care of right there.
it takes care of it. You know? I mean,
Versus all the jugs and
Yeah.
everything.
you could put one, you could, like if you wanted bubblers here, instead of plumbing in one of them and running it, if you want them upstairs and running it through, they're neat. They're kind of neat. I didn't know nothing about them until I went over and started dealing with the daycares one. It's kind of neat, so but that's what that's for anyway. Because you can't drink the water, beer's got arsenic in it, they say. And then equipment repair. We don't have a lot of equipment, you need money if you're gonna repair it. And I have a warrant article I'd just like to share with you guys, I'd like to present. If we're good with that, I'm sorry, was there any questions on water?
What?
It
Yeah, it
should, I
is.
mean,
It is.
Was there any questions on water? I apologize. No? All right. So, one article that I would like to ask for would just simply be a raise for my guys. I know we're asked for a raise every year from the townspeople, and I don't want to do away with that. You just can't find help right now. I mean, Audley's starting out at $20 an hour. I've lost a lot of help due to the economy's good, and we should all be happy about that, but it's kind of hurting us. And I can't start new hires because they're going to be started higher than what I'm paying. To keep good help, you got to give fair wages, I guess. That's just all there is to it. I'm sure there'll be people that feel differently on both sides of the fence. So what I'd like to do is give everyone $1 an hour across the board increase. And if it passes, I may be back next year. And that'll get everybody up to where you can start someone at a competitive wage. You can keep someone that's worth keeping. You got a Class A license, you can drive a reefer trailer for Dunkin' Donuts for $30 an hour. It's just hard. It's hard to keep help, at low pay. And I didn't bring my paper in. I brought it in, shared it with you guys once before. But if you go to what's the website we always post on?
It was New Boston.
New Boston.
Where?
Yeah, the website we always put it
New Hampshire
on.
Municipal.
Oh.
Yeah, New Hampshire Municipal. You can look at everybody's, the class-wise, you look at everybody's, and they're at least $2 an hour higher than us for truck drivers, so. That kind of helped me word it, so sounds appropriate. It says, shall the town raise and appropriate the sum of $26,793 to cover the cost to increase the hourly wage within the Department of Public Works by $1 for each employee. This represents the wages, payroll, taxes, the New Hampshire retirement system contributions for 9 months. If approved, this addition would become part of the annual budget. And I do have a breakdown. Would it be for the entire year would be,
To the far right.
35.
yeah, would be $35,703.52. So I think you guys' blessing, this isn't a CIP thing, so I didn't present it to them too. And you got the paper, right?
Yeah.
Any feelings on it? Any suggestions on it? Any?
No, I'd say let the taxpayers decide.
Yep.
I mean, I'm speaking on truck drivers because that's what I start people out at, but I don't think you find qualified equipment operators or mechanics they get work for $19, $20 an hour either, so. I know we offer a good benefit package, but
I mean, you get New Boston's offering the same thing, they start more.
Yeah.
They start more, they get the same basic benefits we do, and they start $1 plus.
almost $2.
Almost two. I was gonna say about $1.90 an hour more. I mean, Dunbarton, was a one-cow town, they're starting at $3 an hour,
More.
or more.
And Hanukkah's up more too than us, I think.
Yeah, I mean, so I think
That leaves us.
that leaves us, we've gotta be competitive. Like you said, Audley's starting, a laborer's out at, $18 to $20 an hour.
I've had 0 applicants, I just get lucky once in a blue moon to have someone that wants to stay around because they're part of another department, like fire department, like Logan, but it's a shot in the moon. I've had more than one person come. I had a guy come from the state who
And the state
doesn't
pays
pay any
nothing.
money,
Yeah, the state doesn't pay
and
anything.
he never came back. He picked up an application, he didn't drop it back off, so.
Yeah.
I just, I'll be the guy always crying, don't get paid enough, but I just feel you kind of want a crew that's going to get a little longevity too,
I know a lot of them, like I think Highway Maintainer 1, when they start, it's like getting 14 and change.
Yeah, I don't know how they get
I
anybody.
mean, I don't know
I
how
don't
they
think
do
it's
it.
that much yet.
No, I think it just went up with the
Oh,
new
did it?
contract, like
Substantially, yeah.
14.
What I was making when I was there, it wasn't that.
No, I don't know how they get anybody.
No,
So it's,
that was
yeah.
two.
That'd be for my 2 transfer station guys too. They deserve it too. I mean, that's not a job very many people want, and they do it and they're happy about doing it. So.
Especially being outdoors.
Yes.
The one question I would have, I guess, and it's really not I guess it is monetary at the end of the year. I just quickly added up the hauling costs. How long is it going to be till we get a truck and a guy of our own? I mean, it's
Sooner than later. I guess the only reason I haven't jumped on it is because it's been shot down in flames so hard before that. Because right now, it would be an inconvenience at certain times. But I have enough Class A drivers right now, I don't need a truck. I mean, half of my guys have Class A licenses. So most of the time, somebody could come in early,
Jump a load.
come in at 6 and take a load. Snowstorm on a Saturday, that's when we'd have a problem, but
you can hire a part-time guy for that.
you could find probably somebody that could come
Yeah.
pull a load or hire somebody who's got a tractor once, or twice. But it's been talked about 1,000 times. I mean, it was thrown out there when I was at the transfer station. We were gonna repurpose one of our trucks. It would have worked good. It's too old now, so. I don't think you'd even have to put a guy on right now. I don't,
Just gotta buy a truck.
Just need to buy a truck, halfway decent one. No, that'd be a new one. Something with a wet system, and I think you'd want at least 36 rears under it. 40 would be better.
So they gotta, when they get there, they gotta push the load. When they get the wheel brader, they gotta push the load.
Yeah, you gotta have a wet system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
Okay,
only
get
snag would be the metal, but I've had this planned in my head all along, so I'd probably see what Snitzer would charge to drop a can and just pull their own can. I absolutely refuse to get something to roll off. It's a whole nother can of worms, another piece of equipment.
Oh, yeah.
And I've seen them lost off them trailers before, so.
Yeah, no, we don't want that liability.
So we don't need all that. Paper'd be a pain in the butt because you go down to Wilmington, Mass, but I'm sure it could figure it out.
It's still, at the end of the day, it's only gonna be the cost of a truck.
Yeah, it's only once a month, so even in the wintertime, you just
You could figure it out.
figure
Yeah.
it out.
Or like you
Something
said,
I'm
it's
definitely
pretty overrated.
interested in. I just don't want to fight it all on my own. I know it's gone down in flames a couple times. It's something I need to do next year because
Contract.
contract's going to be.
I think that my own personal would be very advisable to come up with a number for a used tractor.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is, I mean, just adding the numbers up quick, it's $45,000.
Yeah, and I think you could buy a truck for not much more than
30,
that.
40, yeah.
I think you could get 40, 50 in a good truck. I'd probably try to get an automatic. Yep. They're out there. I
Oh, yeah,
know.
they are.
Yep.
Decent iron, so. I just looked at that real quick and thought that's,
Good idea.
something we could
Yeah.
It'd be a one-time purchase for the truck and then maintenance on it, and
Yeah.
if
Well,
we got a handful of A drivers, then.
We got quite a few right now. I'm not saying we will forever, but they seem to be coming in the door more with A. It just seems to be something everybody gets this day. Probably half my crew's A right now, including me. So So it's certainly something that's probably been talked about for a dozen years. It just never seems to, it gets such resistance when it gets
Not,
up there.
and not to discredit, the vendor we're using to move the stuff now.
Oh,
at
they're
all.
great.
Not at all. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just thinking financially.
Yep.
Right.
No, I
At the end
agree.
of the day, it's,
If we can save money.
yeah, and that could be substantial.
After the first
It'd be a
year.
one-time purchase for the
Yeah.
truck, and then
Right.
probably half,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
or more.
Or more, yeah.
You're paying the hourly rate in fuel.
Yep.
So, like you said, that one trip to Wilmington wouldn't be, only be a pain on a snow day.
That's right. Only reason I was looking, because you said owning your own got me thinking about something else. I missed a line there on you guys in the highway. That was roadside mowing. I didn't say that, did I?
I don't think you touched on it, no.
And the reason, when you said cost ahead, because someday this town needs a mowing tractor, but I won't go there tonight too much. I increased that $1,700 because that's what rental went from $2,500 per week to $3,000 per week. You can find them tractors 3 years old for 50 grand. You can't, by the way, mow this town in 4 weeks. This year I'm only doing it for 3 weeks. It takes 2-3 months. And for 50,000, 60,000 sometime, this town ought to look at it. It's probably, other than patching roads, it's, in New England, that's probably one of your top maintenance items is brush, So I think it would be very valuable. And you wouldn't have to stop everything for that one guy for a month, You get time, you could send them out. It's worth thinking about in the future. But I increased that line. Made me think of it when Ricky said it'd be worth having one, so.
Just a thought for the future.
Yep. I think that's it, isn't it?
Finance committee, have any questions? I don't like this, I think there's 3 here, right? Okay.
Yeah.
One is simple, just what was the total cost for the warrant article for the?
Oh,
$35,703.52.
I thought it was 26 something.
For the warrant article? Yeah.
The warrant article, $26,793.
$293.
And that's for the 9 month, and then
That's for
the
9
full,
months.
the full year would be 35,703.
35,000 what?
703.50.
703.
For the 52 weeks.
The other thing, you had the new line for paper disposal,
Yep,
and then we still have the line for hauling.
yep.
So you'd be basically more or less flat on your hauling, same people hauling the paper.
Yep.
But when they get it to wherever they usually take it, now you gotta pay for them to take
Yes,
it.
yep.
Just saving that moving cost.
Nobody gives you money for it anymore.
Tom, do you want to go make a copy?
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'll make a copy.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. All right.
Good.
I think so, with you anyways. I have no questions. Board have any questions?
No?
No.
Finance committee, anything else? Yes, no, maybe? Okay.
Beth, Neil needs copies, yes. He needs a copy of the budgets and stuff.
All right, we'll move on to meeting minutes. Thank you, sir. Have
Actually,
one-
wait.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
What?
Oh,
Oh, we gotta sign that for him.
what you want? Want us to sign that?
Stand up. No.
You already signed it.
Stand up there and tell him why you want it.
What is it? You kill it.
Capital Reserve. It's a
First
new
truck.
No,
I'm sorry,
can't have it. Sorry, we're out of money.
I missed
You
that.
hear things to tell you?
Yeah. So the truck's done,
Good.
and
Do you want it back?
McDivitt, before they hand me all my paperwork, wants their money.
Wonder why.
They want, you paid for service?
Apparently.
Yeah.
Is that in the contract?
Yeah. So I'm asking for $122,420.
repeating that?
What's that? Yeah. Yeah, we can. Amount I'm asking for is $122,420 to pay for the Western Star that was approved last year's vote.
The cab and chassis?
Yeah, to make it.
I'll move to, do we have to move it?
Yes, because you
Yes.
put it into the capital
Yeah,
reserve, so you
right.
gotta pick it up.
Yeah.
Right.
Move to expend from the capital reserve fund $122,420 for the purchase of the cabin chassis Western Star that was previously approved at town meeting. Town
Second.
board, to come from the, was it the highway equipment?
Highway trucking.
Highway truck equipment fund.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I don't have it broken down.
Okay,
Sorry,
now-
the reason I was talking to her real quick is we don't have the broken down bill of it yet, and I'm going to get it. I guess I'll have to come
From
back
Tenco?
from Tenco,
Okay.
so.
I just wanted the money back that you guys signed tonight. I just want it back in the capital reserve fund.
Right, so John starts signing it and comes this way.
So when we get their bill, we'll do it again.
Yeah. I just want it back from the trustees as soon as possible.
Yeah, exactly. Hand it over. So you said it's done up there?
Yeah.
Or is it here?
It's done up there. I go get it this week sometime.
Yeah, before snow season.
Yeah, well, I need the paper so I can go register it, so I can go get it legally. Because that would certainly be my luck to
Yep.
have somebody run into
Does that
me.
make it easy for another 20 attempt day?
All right, now you're all set.
All right, thank you.
Water bottle. Unless it's in the Yeah, it is 76 degrees.
Right.
Meeting minutes, 10:15.
Yeah, I just have, just when you get to it, I'm not sure how you want to do it. Chief Kelly had in the minutes, he just said he needs to correct under the PD presentation. He said 2 part-time officers are already in the budget and we're attempting to fill them.
No.
It says, I'm recommending 2 full-time positions, 1 to cover midnight and 1 for SRO.
Right.
So just, he has to make that correction when we get there.
To come from,
So full-time.
to go to Warren, not the opposite.
Right, I don't, he said it had to do under his presentation, so I'm gonna be at a spot.
I noticed that.
All right. Page 1. You're on page 1. Page 2.
Page 2. The second full paragraph, the second line from the last part, the last sentence. There is a boatload of money down. I didn't know what that meant.
Down there, I think it was.
Down there,
Down there, okay.
over there, or whatever.
Meaning at the fire department.
Fire
Right,
department.
okay. And then the next paragraph, the second line down, Town Administrator Bolton replied that the ladder truck.
Okay.
That's it for that page for me.
Anything else on page 2? 3?
The paragraph that's at the top. After Town Administrator, this refers to?
Yeah, it's
Not
an incomplete
TO over
sentence.
to? Okay. Under library, replacing the flooring. The second line down, I'm sorry.
Right.
Replacing the flooring in the Emma Sawyer room.
Yep.
That's all I had.
I'm sorry, what did you?
Oh,
what's up above?
flooring,
Flooring instead of
ING.
floor.
Up above,
No, up
the
above.
first paragraph.
Oh,
2,
2, should be TO.
not TOO.
Wait a minute.
Okay. No,
No, can't be TWO.
No, 2-0.
2-0, just
TO.
TO.
It should be, it be
1-0, 1-0,
1-0.
not 2.
1-0.
I meant 1-0.
Dyslexia here.
I
Oh my
figured
God,
Sorry.
it's past my bedtime.
It's on YouTube.
I need some
Okay.
sleep.
Anything else, page 3?
Did you get the one under the library
I
part?
got it.
Okay.
I added the ing to the floor.
Yeah,
In the. Afterwards, yeah.
Page 4.
Yeah,
That's-
why that's gonna be changed.
This is page 4.
Yeah,
We're,
2 part-time officers, you wanted 2
To
full.
full-time, yeah.
Yeah.
where is that?
Well, he does still want to hire 2 part-time officers in 2020. I would correct it to say, and this is coming from page 3 in the 4. Chief Kelly noted a desire to hire 2 part-time officers in 2020, period.
Should be a period, yeah.
He also wants to hire 1
SRO,
SRO and 1,
to supplement the 24-hour patrol.
well, he also, no,
The
Part-time,
period
right?
after 2020. He also wants to hire 2 full-time officers, comma, an SRO, and, that make sense?
And one to supplement 24-hour patrol.
And when he wrote to cover midnight, but that's okay.
Wow.
But yeah, that was, because he did state he wanted to hire 2
Yeah.
part-time officers.
Yeah.
So there's
I
no
want you to-
parentheses there?
No,
No.
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 I don't think she understood it completely.
Wait a minute, that's not right. 2020, he's not even going to be here.
It'd be
It
actually be
says,
2019.
but wait, it says
2019.
noted a desire. So this is his.
Just long-range
This is his
desire.
desire.
No, he want,
2019. He
it
said
was
next year.
2019, he said for next
It
year.
was 2019, yeah, the year is off there.
Yeah, it's off.
Sure, okay.
Thank
He
you.
also wants to hire 2 full-time in SRO and 1 to supplement patrol, installate.
Supplement midnight patrol.
That's really a mess.
Yeah.
Because it goes from the patrol to the installation of gutters, the locks.
Well, that needs to be, well, get rid of the parentheses and put a period.
Period, yeah.
Yeah.
But
comma.
the installation.
And 1 period after patrol. And then
Okay.
And then the installation of gutters,
Installation.
locks
yeah.
could possibly be shifted.
Well, in addition, installation of gutters, locks for safety complex, and maintenance. I don't know, that's a,
Installation, we have any other. Installation of gutters / locks.
for the safety complex, comma, possibly shifted to government buildings and maintenance fund,
Yep.
comma,
Yeah. gotcha.
fuel rate, comma.
Yeah.
I think that's,
All right, that
Simple.
sounds better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, we all set there?
yeah,
Yep.
The 6th line down,
Same place.
same place, yeah. After Lori Davis, just cross out the word was.
inquired, yeah.
Yeah. And then down further, did he disagree or agree?
With what?
Okay, here we go. With what Lori was saying.
What is it, what's the line? Read it.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
He
6, 7.
disagreed with what she was saying.
He did disagree.
He
Yeah.
did disagree?
Yeah.
That the town was fairly understaffed at that point, grossly understaffed.
Yeah, but due to what she was saying.
Yes.
So why would he disagree? Why wouldn't he agree?
He agreed. She was saying that
There was enough staffing.
why, you know,
Yeah, why do we need these people? There was plenty of staffing.
Oh,
We
I
handled it just
didn't
fine.
get it that way. I thought that she was
That
trying to
police
say.
department could revisit
Okay.
hours and duties.
that's what
And
I
it could
that's what
contribution
was
to
asked about,
patrol
the
potential.
overtime and the,
Can I ask a question? It's not, it's in this, I read something somewhere where all 3 schools have, and Hennecker has to vote yes to have an SRO.
yep.
Yes, in the high
Both
school.
towns have to approve.
Both
towns
towns
For the
have
high
to,
John
school.
Stark's
for
side.
John
Yes.
Stark's side of it.
Yeah, because that's where it's going to the,
The high school and the middle school.
Right.
yeah.
Okay, the 9th line up from the bottom.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Cross out one of the zeros and $16,500.
Where?
16.
Looks like 16
wow.
mil, looks like 1,000,006,
Oh,
6.
Next paragraph.
It should be
Yeah.
16,500.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's 165,000, I want heat and. in there.
Yeah.
Um,
Anything else on page 4?
Nope.
No.
Oh,
No.
Yep,
oh,
last line, 3rd word in from the right. R-A-Z-E,
where is it?
raise it.
Where is
She was
it?
raising it differently.
Oh, she was a RAI.
She was gonna raise it up.
Pick it up.
Oh,
No,
Raz,
tear it
it's
down.
Razit, isn't it?
Raise, they pronounce it.
R-A-Z.
Motion to raise it, RAZE.
That all for 4?
yeah.
That's, yeah.
5?
Over in this one, it should be Hippler, this is the first line. Hippler seconded past 3-0-2.
Correct. Yeah, the numbering.
Yeah,
off.
she does that.
Yeah. She did it right on
What is
the
it?
one down here, but
302.
Yeah, it should be
Three-
three-
three
Two.
voted
In favor,
for,
2 abstained.
0 against, and 2 abstained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Anything else? 5?
Yep. The date for the auction is the 17th, not the 10th.
10th?
Yeah, I think she got confused because it was gonna be the 10th, and we said we were gonna do it because it was Veterans Day, we moved it to the 7th.
Now, do we have to all be there on the 17th?
Yep.
Yes. If
Yeah.
We
possible.
said we would.
If possible. And not only we need to stay for the whole thing, it's just those first
It's
3
first
lots.
3.
With
Okay.
the reserve.
Well, maybe I can catch my flight to the White House then.
The what?
Help us.
Joke. Thank you.
Private joke. I said something.
That's all right.
Oh, boy.
She's not gonna let me forget it.
No, I wouldn't. Anything else on page 5?
Nope.
6?
Let's see. Does anybody else have anything?
No,
I don't want to just,
No.
No.
It's all
Three.
you.
I had the 17th. She's got the 7th.
She got 17th right on the next one.
Okay. the 4th line down, the last line in the bell tower. I just said that,
Last-
Naomi, she made a comment that, regarding the missing number, and you said that you had it, so I don't know if you want to just add that in there.
That you have the number for
Inquired
the
regarding
town
the
hall.
missing
Have it.
number.
It didn't
You
have to be made.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, is it,
I don't
it's
think
in good
it's-
shape? It's not rotted or something?
It's not in great shape, but I bet if you get up there, they're all the same. You'd
Maybe.
have to take a peek at it.
Yeah.
It's been sitting on the floor for a long time, right next to the shredder.
Oh, okay. I mean, if we're gonna have them up there, maybe we should think about replacing them and having them so they're good for another 50 years,
Mm.
or 30 or something.
Go out the
So-
roof.
On that section?
Mm-hmm.
Anything else, page 6?
No.
7?
Won't be.
8? Entertain?
Make a motion to accept the minutes for 10:15, 18.
15, 18, yeah.
As
We said
amended?
10:15, 18, as amended, yeah.
I'll
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Manifest.
Cruising.
Somewhere, there it is. All right, I move to order the treasurer to sign the payroll and accounts payables checks dated October 25th, 2018, including the following manifest. A payroll manifest of $59,526.27 for weekly and monthly payroll. An accounts payable manifest of $63,276.73. A supplemental accounts payable manifest of $122,420 for the cabin chassis. And a John Starks Regional payable, accounts payable manifest of $250,000 for a total of $495,222.00.
Second.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye.
You're opposed?
I'm opposed. There's 3 items in there I cannot absolutely stand, so I'm gonna ask for further clarification afterwards.
Okay. Something I did?
Nope,
Okay.
nope. Person policy wasn't followed on 1. I think we have a double dip on the second one, and we have overtime for the PD secretary again.
Oh, yeah.
What's the double dip?
Should we talk about it now?
Yeah.
While we're in
Yeah.
manifest?
Yeah.
It's already been moved and seconded and approved.
Right, but you could discuss.
We can still discuss
All
it.
All right, second one, water. We put something in for the, I'll look it up, you did?
Catch it online, but
For who's vendor?
Second wind water.
Is that the sink over here?
yes.
The osmosis
Yeah.
for the daycare?
It's over $1,000,
Hmm.
and I ain't seen anything attached with it.
No, you're right. He talked about it tonight, though. But
We
that's what
talked
it's
about
for.
it before, because it's
I
the
understand what
only
it's
vendor.
for, it's just we didn't, again,
Okay. Yeah.
Didn't go out
Was
to
it-
bid.
it didn't go, it didn't
It's Second Wind
quote,
does.
it doesn't have to be
the
bid, it just
buildings.
quotes.
Quotes, yeah.
Right.
Second Wind does
Doesn't
this
that-
building and that building, and they were having a struggle over there, so I think he had
Came out of the
Second
water
Wind
department
over-
budget, right?
Could have
Yeah,
gone to water
That's
department.
where it came out, it was the
Yeah,
water
it's
department.
$1,200,
budget.
but still, again, that leads back to the same question that we had before of, with the, Conservation Commission. because that waterworks or system is
Yep.
privately funded, is that, do they fall under the purchasing policy just like
Yes, they do.
conservation?
But
Yeah.
I know that he brought that up, that they were putting one in, and the only vendor was Second Wind because the other company was more money, and the Second Wind's the one that's been doing these right along.
When was this?
He brought that up last week or the week before.
That they're the only vendor in town that does?
No, they're the only vendor that was doing that particular thing
Yeah.
that he's dealt with.
Okay.
Another one I can't discuss at this point.
Okay.
And the third one, again, just like I said, we have overtime when we
No.
directed multiple times not to have overtime. So. We can discuss the third one in non-public.
Yeah, we'll leave one anyway.
Yep. So,
Alright,
Okay. And administrator's report.
Before I get there, Maureen asked if you guys, what your what your schedule would be for election
I
day.
say my
I already
interest is
gave you
none.
mine, so.
What's that?
You said interest, I was gonna say none.
I already gave you mine.
So I just wanna write everybody's down though. So Jack, you gonna be in there morning,
7 to 4.
7 to 4. Sherry,
I'll let you know, but I'll try to find out tomorrow.
I think I'm there all day.
Jim, all day. Ricky,
After work, no break to go off 10 if I have to. Oh, I get to talk to dispatchers for a half
I was
hour.
gonna
Great.
say, you had a good time.
John,
I have no idea what my schedule is.
alright, we'll check.
Yeah, I'll check.
Yeah, she's just trying because there's discussion out there that it's going to be probably extremely busy.
Yeah, I think she said she had 150
She already has 100 and something absentee ballots as well.
absentees, yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
I saw that St. Jean boys this weekend.
Okay.
He actually moved to away.
So if you guys would just let me know, I'll let her know, or just let her know directly would be helpful. Now, I gave you guys this,
That looks good.
Which one is
but
this?
I was
Oh,
running
this.
out of ink, so yours ended up pink, but it's really purple.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Oh,
So if you guys don't have a problem with this, I'll let St. Jean know in the morning.
Yeah.
I know.
And then the intent, just to let you know, the intent, hang on, I have to go to my email, I didn't print it. So Jay said, could you get back to me as soon as possible for after the board reviews the brochure? We'd like to hang the signs on the parcels tomorrow and put brochure boxes on the improved properties. We'll also drop off a stack at your office. So if you're okay with that, that's what their plan is.
yep.
Okay?
No, we didn't put any,
Excuse me.
We have to come up with a
Thank
number
you.
before that.
yeah,
We've also, Laura's working on something about a deposit agreement.
A deposit agreement, yeah.
Yeah.
mhm.
Um,
And are these houses all empty now?
Well, the
No.
evictions have been served.
Okay.
Did you get the return service?
Yeah, I did. Not to say that they're all gone yet, but
But
He said he did.
they are
Okay.
served in hand.
they were left at the abode.
Oh.
That's all they were.
That's all that's required.
So will that give them 30 days from the day they dropped them
Well,
off?
if you look at the 30 days, it'll be very close to that as long as they don't dispute it. But if you look at the properties, it says the balance required of the purchase price is 45 days. So
Mhm.
once you purchase it, the auction is I think it's the day after that is the date to get out. So by the time he puts it in place and by the time papers close, it should be empty.
Yep.
That's the plan.
Unless they contest it.
Unless they contest it, and then that's a whole new ballgame.
So what happens if somebody buys
We have
it
to go to,
and they don't
Have to
leave?
go to court.
we have to go to
You
court
have to
with it.
file landlord-tenant stuff in the court.
Yeah, we have to
And,
go, it's a problem.
And if they have,
It's a pro.
yeah, and if they have young ones,
Yeah,
you won't get them out of there until
till
April.
after April.
Until April
I don't think
1st.
they do.
I don't know who's living there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But
Where, at the first one?
any of them.
I know who's living at the first
Well,
one.
I
You know.
couldn't, we don't track who lives where
Yeah, I know.
without intruding on the
I don't-
register in your car, and you can't do that.
Yeah, I don't know about the other
So all
ones.
I went with was the owner and whoever signed the letter, and then there's a third one that says all occupants.
Yep.
So, 3 letters That's why you signed 4. 3 letters, and I could get one back.
Even,
Got returned, so I got the service back, and you'll get the bill in next month's. But
Yeah.
I'm going to 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to share the heating prices. But before we do that, I want to have a discussion about the burner
About the what?
Oil.
in this building.
Oh, okay.
Okay, this building, according to August 2002, we hired Weare Plumbing and Heating for $16,400 to put in the new heating system here.
how long? When was that?
In 2002,
We're
16 years old.
plumbing, yeah,
So
To put
then
what-
what
to put what in
happened?
again?
The boiler downstairs in this building,
That got replaced in '02.
in
Yeah,
02.
I know too.
And then we had an emergency repair in 2012, which was 10 years, for a boiler, burner, controls, vents, expansion tank, and piping. That was done in 2012 by the same person.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've also spoke with a couple of people that I handed, I'll hand you down, you guys got these, right?
Yeah.
I asked about the conversion.
Mm-hmm.
One company got back to me, and I talked about burying it outside, and you have to buy your own tank to
Yep.
do that, which
Yeah, you
I didn't
won't.
check into that. Typically, if you get someone like one of the vendors to do that, it's no charge.
Right.
They do it, it's all certified.
Part of the buying.
But if you're gonna check and do it every single year, and you go with one vendor, which is gonna be a discussion I'll have with you after. If you go with one vendor, they put it in a couple years, you go with the same vendor, the third year rolls around, you want a different vendor,
It's your tank.
then they pull up the tank, you get another one to put it in. So, do we wanna do that? Do we wanna continue to look at oil and putting it just a oil barrel? It's not
Has,
barrel.
has,
Well, I
some-
mean-
has somebody looked at this furnace like
I
last
haven't.
year?
It took us long enough to find in 2002.
I know, but from doing it myself, that if you buy the tank and the regulator, it's about $1,800.
Okay.
And
How
some
big
of
is the tank?
Huh?
How big?
500 gallon. That's the big ones. You know, you can get bigger, but I mean, that's the average. 500 gallon tank's about $1,800. And then once you own it,
You can have whoever.
you can go whatever, and actually it's cheaper because this price they'll knock off so much because it's like having welding gas. They call you a rental fee. It's a demurrage fee because it's their tank. So they're charging you rent for their tank included in the price of your propane.
Plus the product, yeah.
Yeah, so you can go around and shop them, and they'll go, oh, yeah, it's going to be this with your tank. No, we own the tank. Here's the
But who
paperwork.
puts
What's
them
the
in?
price? You could put it in yourself.
You could have,
I mean, it's nothing to bury them. I mean,
No,
just
you
dig
have
the
a plumber.
hole and you put,
Just-
no, you got to have a certified gas guy
gas
to hook
guy
it
to
up,
hook it up.
Okay.
which is, you know, as
Mo-
long as you
most
bury it.
plumbers are certified
Yeah.
gas guys.
Yeah.
As long as you put it in, you know, in sand and so forth, you're not putting it in gravel, so it may rub up against it or anything, but you backfill it with sand.
But now, if you put it out to bid and there's no, because what we run into in this building is by changing vendors, and that's why we've not changed vendors for
Yeah.
a while, is because there's no whistle on the tank here. So we don't know
Right.
what's
Yeah,
here.
and technically, you're supposed to have a whistle on the tank, and a
And
lot
they
of them.
won't put one on because we can't find any information as to how old things are.
Yeah, well, they want to do
So,
that. But, I mean,
I'm
you-
just saying, will there be some sort of certification that I need to
That-
show them?
that tank is.
That if we put it in the ground out there, that
Oh, yeah,
it's
they-
been certified?
They give you the paperwork, it's got a metal tag on it, certified, it should be somewhere.
No, I'm
usually-
talking about installation.
When you put it in the ground?
Yeah.
Underground
Whoever hooks
propane?
it up,
Whoever hooks it up, there should
it's
be a
gotta be
tag on
certified,
the
yeah.
tank
Okay.
with the date it was done, and they're good for 20 years.
Yeah.
And then there's a tag, there should be one exposed that you can see, if you open up the lid, there should be one right somewhere in there that you
In the
can
top,
see in the
wa-
top.
it's
of
on a
that
wire.
tunnel.
Yeah.
And then you'll have the paperwork, and just hang on to the paperwork. It's got the date and everything with the serial number of that tank and who made it. There's only not that many manufacturers, and I mean, they sell them. Was it Eastern Propane, they sell them. I mean, I got mine from Huckleberry, they sell it. You know, oh yeah, we'll make a deal. You wanna buy $1,800 for the tank and a brand new tank and
I asked one
regular?
of these vendors, and I'm not gonna, they said they don't sell them.
No, and usually the bigger ones won't, because they wanna hook you. I mean, they want that extra fee.
So, none of that, I mean, is it something you wanna do this spring? I mean, I can check it
Yeah,
around.
I think so.
I think we might as well
Yeah,
wait
I
till
wouldn't
spring.
do
like
it now.
that idea of the time bomb out there, as far as I'm concerned, because one leak and we're done.
What, with the
Right,
oil?
then you can't
Yeah.
do, then you cannot do what I just handed you then.
Right, because this is for how long?
A year.
A year?
No, what it is I asked for a specific locked-in price for specific gallons.
Well, how many,
So
how
what
many,
happens is if you award the bid
Mhm.
to, let's use the first one, I did, all three of them, I did 2,500 gallons of number two and 11,100 gallons of propane. So if you say yes to these guys and you decide to change, one goes up, one goes down, then you're locked in. So what happens is if you have more than 11,100 gallons, you're paying the going rate at the time.
What if you decide to say, okay, for instance, you've got heating oil figured in there. If you don't get the heating oil, and you say, okay, instead of buying the heating oil, we're gonna switch it. We're gonna switch to propane on that one. We've only got one unit for heating oil, say. Is that gonna change the contract as far as
And this
us?
contract is only good till tomorrow, these numbers are,
Yeah, okay,
because it's such a market now.
yeah.
They're up
Oh,
and
yeah.
down all the
Oh,
time.
yeah, I know.
What,
Propane's gone nuts.
what runs, what buildings do we have there on oil, other than Eastward Fire Station? I don't know.
Here.
This-
In
this-
here is oil.
Yeah.
every, what's this,
What's the
what's the,
Safety
town
complexes.
hall?
library?
Propane, the
Town hall, we
library.
moved to propane.
That's propane. The,
The library, I believe.
the
is
stone
propane.
is propane, stone
And
building's
I think the
propane.
library is too.
We're the only one.
Yeah, South End's propane and Center's propane.
The only one that is the East Weare and this.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanna know.
I remember looking at all the stuff that we had on it before.
Yeah.
There's multiple
Yeah.
places.
Town office.
And Eastward don't
in
burn
Sugar Hill.
jack for.
Yeah, so it's the town office in Sugar Hill. The town office is about 2,300. Sugar Hill's about 300.
Yeah, so a tank full.
2,300 gallons here.
Yep. For the
So-
winter,
This
per
is the
year.
building, yeah.
Yeah, so if you're gonna run you're thinking you're gonna run the oil out this year, run oil this year, and then next summer, switch over? They don't have time to put a tank in if you
No,
want.
the last delivery I got was April.
Yeah, they could put
They
the, I mean,
filled
as
this
long as
in
the
up
ground's
in
not
April.
frozen. they
No,
can
no,
put it
but
in.
I'm just saying, if you were gonna have, like, the highway department come dig the hole or something to save you some money, I don't know how
That's
much
cheap.
time they have.
That's the cheap cost. Is putting
And
the
is,
hole.
and is a 500-gallon
Right
tank
along.
big enough?
For this place?
For this
We have
place?
1,000 gallon, yeah.
Or you can get 1,000.
I would get
gallon.
1,000,
But
I
know,
think.
or sometimes.
All right,
you
so
know,
we're talking springtime, right?
On top, yeah,
Well, I'm just asking. I mean,
because they,
I can call them and we can try for prices next Monday night and see if they're changed.
Right, well,
These are
Rhymes,
only good till tomorrow morning,
Yeah.
not noon.
Rhymes is to May 31st, so maybe if we
But
just,
only
If
on,
we
that's
sign the
today,
contract.
if you sign it
Yes.
tonight.
Today.
right, so, so we won't know what Irving will do, that's out through October.
but I mean, you're not gonna get a furnace installed they may be, not have much for help right now because they're probably doing cleanings and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you might not be able to get anything done till summer
Right.
And all I
anyway.
wanted to
Well,
say
that's
is
what I'm
if you're
saying, if
looking
we
at
went to May
making the move.
31st. I mean, maybe.
It's kind of late to make it now.
Yeah,
We can't make it now, no.
no way.
No,
Okay, well, that's
No.
all I wanted to
No.
say. If
But,
you
okay, so looking at the contracts,
But I would rather do a May 31st on all of them.
yeah.
right,
Well, it doesn't change anything. It just, why I'm telling you is that if they come in September,
mhm,
which usually they start ramping up, it could be $3 a gallon.
Mhm.
This gave you a full year, this didn't give you a full year.
right.
Mm.
That
Irving.
river's
And
got
the
no
other thing I
specific
wanna
thing.
just throw out there, and why I put the difference on there is, they're gonna be looking to change tanks.
Mhm.
All the propane tanks would have to go to the new person. They're all Irving right now.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So
which is,
But I don't wanna lock in for a year
$383.
either.
Well, I mean, we can.
with a gallon. I mean,
I don't think they're
It's
gonna charge.
based on the number, it's based on the number of gallons that you use.
They don't charge you
I could
usually
be
for
done with
switching.
my gallons in June.
They usually don't charge you for switching out the tanks.
What's up to you? For
I know, like, say,
$382.30.
I switched out tanks, and they came and they did it, put theirs in, called, told them, come and get it, and that thing sat there, and finally I called them and said, you come and get it, or I'm charging you rent for having it on my
Okay,
property.
then what do you wanna do with this time bomb here?
no pun intended.
Oh, no, I'm just gonna say, you're gonna go to either one of those two, and I don't care where we go.
Mm.
Yeah.
But you're gonna have somebody say, I'm not putting my fuel in there because there's no whistle,
Yeah, because they don't want to overflow.
and they don't wanna overflow it.
How big is the tank?
Best guess is 1,000 gallons.
Unknown. Yeah.
It's unknown.
So, I mean, but if we lock in with the top,
Mm-hmm.
if we lock in with the top, we're locked in till October 31st, based on a gallon.
Gallons usage.
Right.
Hmm.
But
Because I can tell you, if you looked at your bills,
we're gonna
Last-
we're probably gonna use most of the gallons
It's gonna be a cold.
between here and June.
Especially if we sign
because
it
what
now,
happened,
because it's getting cold.
if you've looked at some of the fuel bills recently, last year you only did 9,500 of propane, so you've been paying the going rate since your 9,500 gallons left, which is more than what you budgeted.
Yeah.
So that's the only security you have.
Yeah, because the going rates.
Is the number that you've locked in for,
Mm-hmm.
and the, you know what I mean, if you don't use 11,000 gallons or
Mhm.
whatever.
Because right now, the going rate's about $2.
I like that because right now we've been
40
paying
cents, 49 cents a gallon.
more because last year we underestimated the 9,500 gallons.
Right.
So
Right.
these numbers are,
Accurate to what we purchased.
yeah, and I think in the spring, I think Benji's more than capable of it. We need to get somebody
Mm-hmm.
Lined
to
up.
do that and
Yes.
to buy the tank and to have that number.
What about the guy that redid the furnace in the stone building? He was pretty good. I can't think of his name. Mark.
He works for somebody, but they'd be interested in bidding on it. He's
No.
not on his own anymore.
No.
Oh, he isn't?
No,
Oh,
he works for another, but he sent me his contact.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he did a great
Right.
job, redoing that thing. I mean, he really did a good job.
So
Okay.
if you decide to do this, any one of the three options, they're gonna need me to sign something.
Tonight.
So, no, they'll send it to me after,
Okay.
but they gave a noontime deadline. So if I give them, they're gonna send me back a contract to make it effective.
Mm.
So if you award it to somebody, award me the okay to sign it and send it back, or else it doesn't do it.
All right. Well, what does the board want to do? I'm all right with it.
We're kind of
Yeah,
stuck
right,
with
with
Irving.
Irving,
We're
yeah.
the ones that'll fill it as it sets, unless we.
Well, I think we do need to do something, and no, don't get me wrong here.
No, I
Yeah.
But
mean,
it's
Yeah.
just, we've been through
I think we dragged our
nightmare.
feet too long.
That's too
Well,
late
it's
in the
not
season.
that, I mean, it's a nightmare, I don't
Yeah,
know.
but I mean, no, we've been carrying that, we've been talking about it since spring, we probably should have been a little more proactive with it and got it done.
All right. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion that, for the fuel contracts, for the heating, for propane and, number 2 heating oil, that we, contract with Irving. For a,
That's the price.
what's that, and the prices for, heating oil is $2.764 per gallon, and for propane, it's 1.663 per gallon.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, I guess we should say that that contract's supposed to be good from November 1st, 2018 to October 31st, 2019.
And, do you want to, can you motion that I'm okay to sign it?
Yeah, make a motion also that we allow the town administrator to sign that contract.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye. Opposed?
What are you doing?
Okay.
She
She's
just,
running the meeting.
she just
Yeah.
jumped in there.
She just jumped in.
No, I think it's because when I do the other meetings, I do it, I don't even think.
Yeah.
We'll need non-public at the end, Ricky, at the same time.
C? A and C?
A and C.
Administrator.
Let's see.
Are we touching on this tonight or no?
I've got it, it's in the paper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's already, that hit the messenger on Friday.
Did we already talk?
So you've got 10 days, which is the 29th.
Okay, so we can,
And I know one has been in, I already grabbed him, two's already called me, so.
okay.
We can get them
Let's
all
go
in.
to, what do you want to do, buildings? We'll do buildings first. Well, I don't think the lift has arrived yet, but he was struggling to try to find somebody to move the lift for the bell tower. Because it's an 80-foot lift.
There
but
was
he
nothing there
promised
when
me it
I
would be
went through tonight.
this week.
Yeah, I didn't see it today.
At the same time, we'll have the brown buildings looked at. It's my understanding that the gazebo's been braced up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. Clinton Grove Academy, Sherry's gonna work on getting something done there to do the underpinning.
Yep.
Hi, Jim.
Good night.
I don't have anything more to offer on the security camera or the doghouse or plumbing or, I'm gonna go down to 15. Let's talk
Yes,
about
please.
15.
Ah, yes.
Is that gonna be a non-public?
No.
No.
No, we did have a meeting, as you all know, because you were all here,
Huh.
on Wednesday, the 17th. As a result of that meeting, I guess I felt that when we walked away, we all kind of had our tasks to do. We walked
This
away.
is regarding the food pantry.
I'm sorry, the food pantry, sorry. So we walked away with our own tasks. Linda and I have been back and forth Friday to see if we'd heard from anybody. And then lo and behold, I got an email that I just forwarded you guys this evening, but it came through, I think I opened it Friday afternoon. Saying that they've decided not to move forward with running the food pantry. So I did reach out to them and say, you know, I know, what am I gonna do the last hour here? So basically what the conversation with Bob and I was is that they don't have to be out of where they are until the second week in November, but they were just boxing things up, packaging things up, and they're gonna stay there. I didn't call him today. I can call him tomorrow and just see where we are, because we're gonna need to know the clients and stuff so we can continue. At the same time, today I emailed the staff, because the downstairs is still full of stuff, and said that if you had anything downstairs, it needs to be moved by next Tuesday, because I've worked out with Benji the 30th. The truck's gonna back up to the door and it's gonna go. And at the same time, I'll get back in touch with Linda as well, because shelving is something for the food pantry that the trustees could buy. And Beth had gotten some really nice, you called it stainless, or
Yeah.
it was a
It's,
nice shelving.
Chrome-plated shelving.
Chrome-plated. And, but the suggestion was to put wheels on it, because once you put your cans in it, you'll never move the whole thing. So I'm gonna see if Beth can get that started as far as ordering some shelving units. I'm gonna have to have Carol Johnson in, because there isn't any outlets down there. Now, I don't know about the appliances yet. We haven't had a follow-up with that yet.
I thought they,
The first email indicated there was 2 freezers and a refrigerator.
yeah, there is.
And now there's a decision of what they want to do with it. I guess I'm just
I thought
confused there.
I thought the
thought-
We didn't
trustees
have
bought
anything
that.
in the beginning, like a freezer or
At least
anything,
the 2 freezers.
when
I
it was
thought.
here?
Yeah.
I thought the trustees bought that.
Yeah.
See, when it left here, there was there was one little freezer here that was in the back closet.
Okay, that's
Then it
it.
went over to the school. I don't know what was bought or purchased over for the school. And then from the school, it went
Migrated.
to where it is.
We're
I think.
definitely gonna need that stuff.
So,
I thought it
right.
was a-
So I don't, but I'm just saying, I'm gonna have to get Carol in to put a couple of outlets for freezers,
Right.
refrigerators.
Yeah,
So it's just it's a push.
Mm-hmm.
But, like I said, it wouldn't get started until next, Benji's got stuff to do this week to finish up before winter, so he said next Tuesday he could get the guys, but the staff's been notified, people have been notified, and I guess we'll take it from there. I don't know what happened. I mean, I can't,
Yeah, well, unfortunately.
but I have had a lot of reach out, meaning, like, the nurse from the middle school and the high school have reached out, because it's that time of year,
Yeah,
kind of
Thanksgiving.
planning for Thanksgiving baskets. So they're all willing to help, and it's just, I've had a resident contact me to buy turkeys. Typically, if there's any left at the Legion, they end up here.
Yeah.
So it's just gonna be something we'll put together. But
Yeah.
I think both schools have a better handle on baskets
Mhm.
as to who needs them. but they're willing to help us, so I'm gonna probably reach out to the girl in Henniker for some help too, because,
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we gotta do this on the fly.
well, we do,
Yeah.
because it's rolling up to November.
If you're
Right.
gonna go up to Henniker or something, I'd be happy to run up with you someday.
Okay.
And then
See how it works.
do-
Or if you
yeah,
need
and
help
then
putting the
take a look
baskets
down
together,
here.
I'll help.
Yeah, I think we might all have to chip in.
Yeah.
Chip in, yeah, have a work day or something.
With
Have-
basket. But I don't know, I mean, I guess I
Well, get the
left,
kids to
I
come
left,
over, get kids to come over and
I'm really-
volunteer.
I guess I don't know how you
Well,
guys
let's do
left. I
that at the
left here and
church.
we had made some progress,
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah,
until Friday, so.
So, yeah, you're gonna have to
This-
find
this
out
doesn't
though.
really surprise me with the way she was talking at the meeting.
Okay.
It didn't,
Hmm.
Okay.
doesn't surprise me.
But the appliances, I don't know what the deal is.
Something else going
But
on, so.
even if they don't belong to, if they're their personal ones, which I don't know. I mean, if they're gonna get rid of them, they're secondhand.
Yeah,
I mean, you can find a lot of them secondhand. There's a place right down there in Manchester on Kelly Street that sells secondhand appliances, refrigerators. I've gone down and bought some, and they're in great shape. They're just people who moved and didn't want them. I
Right.
mean, or people that had them. Some of them are brand new that came out of spec houses that they didn't want them, so they wanted their own, so they took them out and got rid of them. But they're, can't think of the name. It was right on Kelly Street. Down there, Chez Vachon, I know it's on the opposite side of the street, but they had used appliances, and I mean, stand-up or chest freezers, and they had
I
big
honestly, I don't know
refrigerators.
what they had.
And short
in
money.
there.
I mean, that was
Yeah,
Never
Yeah.
been there.
well, I guess we gotta find out if they
Right.
wanna keep, if they,
what the story
they're
is.
actually theirs, because if they're not, they should come here anyway.
That's right.
Okay.
We shouldn't
Well,
have to
I'll
be
make another
running
phone
after
call.
buying freezers and refrigerators.
Well,
I'll
I
make
think
another phone call. I talked Friday, but I didn't. have
check with the
time today.
trustees and see if they should have a record of whether or not they help buy them.
Well, we would have it here,
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
we should
it
have
had been a
it.
request to do that.
Right.
okay,
So is that all right for that one?
Yep.
yeah.
Well, it is what it is. Sorry.
And
I
if
just
you're gonna
wanted-
if you're gonna order or buy some more of these chrome-plated wire shelving, you probably wanna look and measure out what you got down there and what you already have.
Yeah.
You know?
Mhm.
See what you can fit in,
Yeah, I
because, you know, and maybe the ones that don't move, you wanna put in a back room somewhere for overflow, and leave the ones that are moving in the areas,
Yeah.
you know,
And
just a
figure out-
thought.
You gotta figure out where you're gonna put the, I know, the biggest thing, where you're
Well, I
gonna
gotta
put
ask Carol when we.
the, with the
go to
freezers and the,
electrical.
yeah, so you can pull the,
Probably on the inside walls,
Oh,
electrical.
where you can
Yeah.
pull the wires
Can't do
and.
it on the cement, I don't think.
This is going back to a
You
subject
can
that
run
was
a
brought up
conduit on it,
earlier.
on the cement.
Well, you can
Drill a
through
hole,
it, drill
yeah.
The paint for Gordon Brown, the barn,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
is not down there anymore. It's up at the Stone Memorial Building because of the
Yeah, we
weather.
brought that up.
Okay, so that it's
Took
in
it
the
up, yeah,
heat.
we brought it up
Yeah,
so it wouldn't
I know-
freeze,
I
because
know
it
you
was.
said
But I
Because
just
of the
wanted,
freeze.
you know,
Lucky you
so that we
didn't.
all coordinate
We
with
did it
that.
last Wednesday. But I figure, you know, Naomi, you said you were gonna give me a call when you knew he was over there.
Which I haven't called you yet, have I?
No?
Wow.
White House.
Just don't call at
Figured you might be.
quarter
down at the
after
White
4
House.
Okay.
in the morning,
Oh, 4:15,
4:15. I might still be asleep.
okay.
That's it, yeah.
So I'll go on to the next one. Custodian, I really only got 2. I was hoping I got more. Nobody replied to him. I have Stratum, which is an assistant custodian, which is 16 hours a week. Then they have a building maintenance foreman for 40 hours a week. So I'll scan these and send them to you, but
Okay.
see which one you're looking at. And then, you know, the part-time one says flexible schedule with comp time off depending on the need. You know, but the buildings they're responsible to and what their duties are. But I'll scan them. I was hoping there was more, because somebody threw it out there, but only one town replied.
Yep.
So I'll email them to you guys. I'll make hard copies for 22.
Yes, I was just gonna ask you for one.
Yep.
Thank you.
Tax deeded, as I already know.
Mhm.
Hazard mitigation, I spoke to Chief Zing today, and he has spoken to the lady at the state that does the state part of it,
Mhm.
and she's not too concerned. She knows where the snag is, even though we're still trying to move the snag along.
Mhm.
So she said we wouldn't have any issue, so
Oh.
he was assured that. Just, I was worried that
Mhm.
we might be hanging ourselves out to dry here. Sean has put out a third time, I'll put it on the town website tomorrow, but he's put out a third time for the ACO and see if anything develops. I think you all have marked your calendars if you haven't, deliberative session.
Yep.
Lawn care contracts, you can see the RFP that was put in the paper. It was also, if you pick up the Messenger, it was listed in there as well. What I have is a deadline of the 29th, which is your next week's meeting,
Okay.
with them coming in for 4 to be opened that evening. The DPW schedule, basically what I gave you, not the DPW, the budget schedule. You saw DPW tonight. Next Monday night, you're gonna see the fire. The 5th, you're gonna see the library and the small budgets. And the 19th is CIP. Now, the reason I skipped the 12th is down to number 15. We have to make some decision. The 12th is actually Veterans Day, so this building is closed, so we haven't met on a closed day.
No, I mean, the 12th.
So, we have to pick a week, and then I also further, because actually 13 and 14 went together tonight. So then further down the calendar, you've got Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve are Monday nights.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be here.
Neither am I.
So my thought is why don't we move them to Wednesday? After
those
Christmas. Yeah,
That's fine.
it's after Christmas and after New Year's.
Doesn't bother
The
me.
week.
The only thing that could be a snag is if something boils up at the end of the year. Because if you look at the calendar, you meet the 27th and not again till 19th. So I'm happy to do the Wednesdays after, but I guess that last Wednesday may be instead of, it's not gonna matter. It's not gonna happen anyway. Can't meet.
Well,
No, I'm just thinking no matter what, what are you gonna squeeze 2 weeks in, like a Wednesday and a Friday?
Yeah.
So we'll just try to do all our business on one. But if Wednesdays works, that works for my schedule. But
It works for me.
Well, what about
Or-
finance
I
committee?
may not be around.
at Christmas time, I think they'd be done by then.
Are they? Okay,
I'm only guessing.
yeah.
okay.
I'm not sure, but I may not be around Christmas week, so,
Oh, you're in Florida?
yeah.
Okay.
No possibility
I'm
of that.
not sure
So Wednesdays
with
are
Christmas.
Well, let's just, I'll put it out
It's up in
there.
the air,
Yeah.
so I mean,
And
We'll need
if you
24
guys-
hours.
Huh?
We'll need 24 hours.
That's true.
yeah,
We don't have to, we're not doing a Yankee swap or anything.
yeah.
We're not?
Yeah,
Oh,
you gonna wear your hat?
I was gonna bring Jello
Yeah, with my
shots.
hat.
So and we did number 16.
12
And
days of
then
Christmas.
just 17, I just want to preface, for any of you that don't know, and I might not have shared my secrets, as an alumni of the state, I'm a certified public manager, graduate of 2011. I was asked to be on the New Hampshire board. I'd done that a year ago. So I've been sitting on that board as my own time. And so they're up for recertification this year. So they're going to Atlanta. So they're taking the entire board with them. So I'm putting in 3 days of vacation time so that I can go attend the board certification because it's something that's not required here. But I just wanted everybody to know that's where I'm going to be. I won't be in the state, but I'm taking 3 days
You can go wherever you want on your vacation.
So I just know, I'm just so people, because I'll talk about Atlanta. That's
Yeah.
where we're going.
Right.
And I just wanted to be clear, it's vacation days, it's not paid time away from here.
Uh-huh.
It's not part of the certified public managers that I already went to for the job here. Just to make that clear for anybody that's watching. Other than that, I just want a non-public, and then maybe under correspondence, I guess I would ask that we maybe, if you want to, do we want to discuss or have a brief conversation about the approval for 33?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. That would be my only other question.
Approval.
33 E&B Lane for the recycling.
Oh,
yeah.
yes, I went through that.
So that's basically all I had.
Yeah.
I know that one of the glitches on that, I
Yep.
found, so.
Yeah, I had a couple of phone calls just in the last couple of days, wanting to know when we were gonna discuss this 33. They want to be able to come when we discuss it, and they also want to know when the planning board's gonna discuss it.
Well, again, in discussions, I think it really rolls back to the planning board. They're the ones that make makes the rules and regulations that they have to follow at town level. We can, I think we as selectmen can move to, you know, put in writing the fact that, you know, that while we may not all agree on the site and what they're doing down there, that, you know, as long as you know, basically make sure that everything that the planning board puts forward is followed, and the state. Whether some of our rules and regulations go above the state level, then that's still what they need to follow. Or if ours are a little bit lacking and the states are higher, that's what needs to be followed. So, but as far as this board's abilities to, I don't know what they're looking for, stop this from happening, I don't think we can.
No,
I think it's gone too far for that.
What they can I mean, we had the discussion at the last planning board, and part of it is that one of the conditions is they had a site plan that they put forth, and they've got to pick which one. They had two different ones that went to the state, and one of them's got to be picked and put on the permit, or it won't be activated.
Right.
The other one that they're looking for is the financial assurance. Within 60 days of this, receiving this, they had to file the financial assurance, in other words, like a bond, to make sure that if something happens, they're covered.
And they have 60 days to make all the...
They have 60 days, if not,
all these changes that
not
have
that
been
changes, but
suggested.
basically, the way it looks, unless they do that, they've met the requirements put forth by the town.
Hampshire.
And the town, yeah.
Yeah,
The state of New Hampshire is
But I
most
think-
strict.
But the town didn't agree to let them bring 300 ton in a day.
Well, some of that is, again, is a misnomer, because I think that's, John knows probably better, for waste management, that's bringing waste in like that, that's the lower, you can't exceed that, but they're not gonna bring that much in.
I guess.
They had the average tonnage, I mean, that's the lowest rating permit, they have different scales on.
Right, but if you, I think the outside storage, this is how, I guess, I look at it, and I have had a conversation with the gentleman that owns it.
Yep.
And I think the state granted more of a permit that the town had.
It's stricter.
He was
Yes.
in 2017,
Yeah.
there was certain guidelines that he was given, and what was given at the state is more. So I just had a conversation and explained that if, you know, that he understood the fact that it's still,
Has to
the
come
more
in.
strict of the two apply, which
Applies.
means that if you want to do something to the capacity that the state authorized you, then he'd have to make a return visit
To the planning board.
which would require a budget notification
That's
and
right.
everything else.
Yep.
So if he lives with what he's got right now, the state of New Hampshire can stay and live with that.
Right.
But he has to abide by what
He
he was
can't.
approved for site plan.
He can't,
That's
yeah,
how I
and he had
look at
two
it.
different site plans, and one of them, he has
Yes.
to make a decision on which one.
I think one had 4 outside bins and the other one
Okay.
had 10.
Well, one was the original, and then it was upgraded as far as being certain things undercover, you know, they changed, so it has to be,
Yeah.
that has to be done.
Well, then there's
I
something too,
believe-
there's a, like, in one part of this, it mentions 15 hours.
I
And
haven't read
if you,
it, so.
and then they broke it down and it said 6 to 6. Well, that's only 12.
Yeah.
So 15 hours would be, if you took 6 to 6, would be 4:30 to 7:30. If you're gonna be going 15 hours, you'd have to add on either end.
Yeah,
So, I
it
mean, I
was-
think those things have to be,
I think the
I'd like
state
to
put it in there
question.
not to exceed 15 hours, I think that's all they can.
But I think
do.
the
No, it says,
I'm trying to find
if
it.
sustains for, they proposed a 15-hour workday would be 60 trucks per day.
Yeah,
Oh, wait a minute, 60 trucks in one day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, with all that, I mean, there's just discrepancies in here that I noticed, and then
What page was that on about?
5.
5.
5.
Is it 5?
Yeah, 5.
So is it
Five.
your understanding that
What?
he has the town approval and he can abide? What was that?
I
Sorry.
believe what you're saying is correct.
No, I just,
If
is
the
that what
town-
you said earlier?
That's what I'm saying, is that I think that the town, the planning board hearings have gone through, and they've put up a conditional approval with the state and
Really?
the planning board. Am I wrong in saying that, Jack?
Run that by me again?
I believe that before the DES did their permit approval, the planning board had already done a.
There had to be certain things that
Conditional approval.
had to be, yeah, there were certain things that had to be met, certain
Yes.
things that had to be done, and before he could get that, and the state also agreed with that, that they have certain
Right.
things that have to be adhered to before the final
for them
permit. He's
too.
got 60 days to do it.
Right.
But
But they would have to go back to the planning board
Right.
if they want to change the
Change any
site
of those.
We want
plan.
the two to match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think all he has to
Because he's
do
got
is the
more
site
time.
plan, he has to pick one and then refile it with DES and just pick the one that's filed with the town, and that's it. He doesn't have to come back again for a hearing, he just has to make that
So he had two
requirement, I
options on the
believe.
table?
It got changed, the design got changed the way I understand it, and I haven't, it wasn't a full discussion on it, because they'd just gotten the report, so.
Okay.
But if he chooses the one from DES, he would have to come back to the
I
town.
think that's because it's more than what was.
Exactly. You're right.
I think it's one that he submitted, so.
But he submitted to DES,
Yes,
not.
and I think
submitted
the
it and
town
it got-
knows about it, that's what I'm saying,
Well,
I don't know.
I think the discussion was, this is what went to DES, this is what went to the town, that's the two.
Yes.
That's my thought.
Yeah.
And then, so, it's this or this.
30
So he
commercial,
got both,
30 commercial trucks per day is what he's,
but he got
Put in.
both permissions, but
Yep.
this is the one that's more strict. which
he
is
has to
ours.
follow whichever one is more strict.
Right.
Which is here.
Should have never let him in.
Well,
well, he can, by law, do that. I don't know.
I mean, why has the town got to change what they originally agreed to?
He'd have to come back for another hearing, if they were going to. If he's looking to get the most,
Most.
Right,
Out
if
of
he's
that.
expanded
then he'd have
anything.
to come back, because it's an expansion of what they
Right.
already approved.
The planning board.
Yes,
Planning
Planning
board.
board level, which would require.
and it would also require changes to this.
But
Because-
how many, did the planning board approve that he can bring 60 trucks a day in?
It says he has 30 listed.
No, I don't know what the planning board approved. You're looking
I'm
to
talking
see.
planning.
Yeah,
You're talking
well, I mean,
state, yeah.
he applied for 30 commercial trucks per day.
Is that what the planning board approved?
I don't know
Because he
what the
was
final
only doing
approval
like,
was on
what,
that.
8 or 10 a day, wasn't he?
Back and forth.
That's what it's
See,
been.
I don't know which is the,
I know, I just want to understand what the planning board
I'll have to go
actually
back and look
approved
at what the
now.
planning board
what
did.
was done in April of 2017, so
Which
that
I
I'm sure
wasn't
the
on the
minutes are
planning
there.
board then,
Yeah.
so I
There's
don't know.
probably, Sherry, there's probably minutes.
And the other thing is, on top
Leading
of
up to
that,
it.
he's refiled for a new permit.
Maybe
so-
I'll go to the meeting, next planning board meeting. Do they have a public comment?
They don't
No,
have a public comment.
no.
They're on Thursday night. I don't know what's on Thursday night though.
It's-
So you can't
they've got
ask a
something coming
question.
this Thursday.
So you can't ask a question?
No, call Chip and have it put on the agenda.
If you get on the agenda, you can.
I'm just curious, if we said initially, we said they approved last year for, say, 10 trucks a week,
That's what he has to follow.
Like this has the thing.
then that's what he has to follow,
Because
isn't
that's
it?
the more strict guideline.
Right.
that's on that
Like it
map.
says-
The state may have approved 30,
It may,
But we don't have to approve it.
depending on what they said.
If they
what
say
the planning board
30.
put forth in 17.
I mean,
Okay.
this talks about hot loads. We didn't authorize hot loads, and if you look further back in the waste
Right.
receipt, weight type receipt, it says no hazardous materials. And a hot load is not something that's on fire. Hot load is
Hot
something that
load
would be
is
radioactive
radioactive
material or some
or-
type of
yeah.
hazardous waste.
Yeah.
I think it's worth looking and maybe comparing
Putting
it.
the two back to
Yeah.
And it said they did not request that, so.
But I think it was April of 2017, and I think the plans that were shown that night had the conditions on the
They
plans.
did.
Yeah.
So
Like, I know there were changes made as to where he was gonna do roll-off dumpsters, that they had to be set in specific locations, and that was done by the planning board, and Chip went down and did that, and they can't be left outside, they have to be covered or undercover. So, I mean,
But all those
that's,
conditions were issued in.
and all those conditions, and they should be in this permit, and that was part of the,
So are you going to discuss this on Thursday?
I don't know, I haven't seen the agenda.
I think the agenda's probably on the door,
I get one email, I haven't seen it in the email yet, so.
because I think he should have been posted, because today's 22nd. You guys are
Yeah,
meeting
so it may
Thursday
have,
night.
yeah, I may have gotten it, but yeah.
So you think
I
it's
didn't
out
see
here
it
on the
today.
door, maybe?
I didn't see
I didn't see
one
when I
out
looked
there,
at it
but
earlier today, so it may be there, I don't know.
There should be one. But I mean, if
Yep.
an email or a call is placed, just like, I think the last meeting, they entertained a walk-in
Yeah, on the specific thing that was on
on Quaker Street.
So if it's already posted, then
but
people
that was-
can't get on the agenda.
But there was a walk-in they accepted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was just on once, which we'd already received notice of anyway, so. 'Cause you'd already
Well,
sent the letters and already been in
yeah, that's
contact.
true. I would just see,
And it was more of a clarification of the rules, which.
sorry about that.
No, it's fine. Yeah, we were gonna talk about that, so there it is.
Mhm.
Any other correspondence we received? We did receive,
We just have, yeah. the
we did
one-
receive an email regarding
Right.
this as well.
Yeah,
But again, we just spoke about it, so.
yeah.
Maybe we could, I'll forward you her information, so maybe we can just kick an email off to her, letting her know that we did discuss it. It's not that we don't.
Does that come through to everybody?
It came through the board members,
Yeah.
I don't think you were on it.
I got it.
I was gonna say,
Mm.
I can't remember if I got a phone thing. If it was
I thought you did get one. 'cause I
This
thought
is
there
the
was an
full
answer to
operation,
yours.
though.
While I'm thinking of it.
Yeah,
He's transferring his operation from Milford to here.
Oh,
well, because they didn't want him to expand over there. There was a
Well,
problem.
that- yeah.
Right from- That's why he came here.
But he's been here for,
A year. Over a year.
Over a year.
Mm. And something I didn't understand was that the reason why this even was done was because he had already started here.
Yep.
And somebody
Well, he-
called DES.
No, he needed to renew his permit, is what he's trying to renew
That
it
isn't what it
through
says
an
here.
expansion. He changed his name, and I believe, and that's what was
That
figured
is not what it says.
He changed his name?
I think it was under another name.
The operating name?
Yeah, and we still have another one that's been tabled until some certain things get cleared up on property lines. That's the one down on South Stark Highway. That was before the planning board last meeting.
yeah, I remember that one.
And that one's been more of an issue than this.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, in the planning board, it was because there was refrigerators and trash dumped on the ground, refrigerators out in the woods, and
That
still
was on,
stuff.
wasn't that on B&B Lane too?
No,
South Star.
South Stark Highway. And it's been that way for a while, and it still isn't cleaned up yet, so.
Any other correspondence? Other business? Okay. Move to go in non-public under RSA 91, A3, Roman numeral 2, A and C.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We,